We are live. Everything that you say can and will be used against you in a court of law.
All right.
Okay. Let me get some tweets out that the stream is live. Okay. Should all be set. Do you have a replay code or a recording?
Yeah, I have a recording. I have it uploaded on YouTube.
Okay. Send me that link and then I'll get that loaded up on screen. Studio.youtube.com/edits.
Yeah,
That's probably not the link
wait.
we need.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay.
I wasn't really sure, like, I don't know. It took me a while to decide on, like, what to share. Because I wasn't sure, like, what exactly would, like...
Usually we
I
get a
guess
lot out of just like any one random video. Like the only advice I usually give about which ones to choose is that we want video that isn't going to like put you in a role that you're not usually going to play.
Yeah.
And that isn't over in like 45 seconds. As
Yeah.
long as you got those two things, it's good.
All right.
Check. Okay. And say something real quick.
Hello.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you. All right. And really quickly, hello, Ben Lancaster and Bayonetta SSBU and Syndicate and Villager Skin and Timmy and Reed Wallen and Chaluna and Jules and Jordy Buns and Gracie and Simmer and Miss Pixie 6 and Phantomu and Ginger Ailsy and Onyxix, something like that. And Froonchie. It's Froonchie. Who knew that Froonchie was here? What a surprise. We're going to get started here with, it looks like it's TC Hammerhead. Skip ahead to this part. And let's get the volume down just a little bit so it's going to be easy to hear. And the last thing I need to do is share my screen so that you can see what I'm talking about in real time. All right. That'll work for now. So if I have to end up drawing anything, I'll have to switch the screens around. But for now, this is going to be a good one for you to go watch. So do you know how to open the Discord stream and be watching that?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. So you should be there. All right. Let's get it going. Oh, yeah, it's St. Patrick's Day. That's true. All y'all are too far away from me to pinch me, so ha. Okay. So we're on the T-Tech, and we've got a Forge Pro, a Clash, and a Splattershot versus a better team comp, but that's okay. It's not too much worse. Your Booyah Bomb is going to be really helpful. If they know how to use that, then you've got basically 2 GG specials if you're in the lead at the end of the game. Because you can try strike the tower and just force them to stay off it for a while someone else just goes and gets on. And there's also the Forge, which can just throw a Booyah Bomb at it. So
Yeah.
Both of those are great options for clearing the tower. Zook is actually pretty good at finding angles on this map, so you've definitely got some stuff to work with. Whenever super chunks go out, you're going to want to be keeping an eye on that and trying to use those to move in with. That is when they're going to get value. Watch out for their range. The heavy is going to outrange everything on your team. Watch out for Kraken. Anytime that it has that special, you just want to be keeping an eye on the heads-up display to see it so that you don't just like commit to a 1v1 against the 96 and then realize, oh wait, that squid's big. It's like really big. That's not a good look. And then Big Bubbler will go on tower almost certainly from the junior. So being able to recognize that, and you can throw strikes into it, which is nice. You could also just work on shredding it if you don't happen to have the special at that time, and also look for opportunities to blow people off the shield. So we're using the curling bomb to go in, which is awesome. It's a great way to get into mid a little bit faster and take a little bit more space than they're able to. We paint up some space. Unfortunately, teammate goes down. Not too much we could have done about that. We committed to painting, which is not a bad plan. While it's theoretically possible, we might have been able to like look and collect more information while we're doing that and see this developing and maybe help our teammate out a little bit. It's, I would say, more their responsibility to just not die there. So unfortunate that that happens, and that's probably going to force us back a little bit. We want to especially be worried about our teammate on the left, because they kind of have a dead end right now. If they try to run away, they have to run to the right before they can run backwards. They're not going to actually make any distance between them and the opponent in retreating if they try to just retreat to mid right now. So that's someone that I would be trying to like assist if possible. Like, if the enemy team decides to try and dive them, at least be, like, throwing a bomb in there. You probably don't want to drop over the ledge and get into the same position they're in, but that's something that I'm thinking about. Like, if this player tries to do anything too much here, they're in a lot of trouble. So I want to make sure that they've at least got some assistance. But at this point, we're just going to back up. If we're going to try and retreat, we want to be painting our escape route, not painting ahead of us. We spend a lot of time just firing out in front of us here, which isn't helping us get across this gap in our paint. And so we have to do this jump, which takes a little bit longer, and we end up getting caught.
Yeah, I don't think I really realized at that point that I needed to be retreating, and then it was too late for me to really, yeah.
Yeah, being in a 3v4, and especially one of those where your other teammate is like way off here to the left, they just have numbers over that situation. Like, if they are starting to push in that direction, they're going to be able to force you away just because of how many people there are. So that's the awareness that would have let you know that that wasn't going to be safe. Now, it looks like your teammate just flanked in and tried to grab the tower, which isn't a phenomenal plan, but it ended up working out, and so now we've got probably like a 2v2 situation with one person jumping in on each side. Yeah, at this point we just want to paint for special. I'm glad we recognize that. It's 2v4. We don't want any of that. I think you can afford here to take your time a little bit more with the throws. You know that there's nobody coming over the box. You can see my mouse, right?
Yeah.
There's nobody coming over this box, so there's nobody that's going to get super close to you. The only people that are coming forward are coming up the ramp over here, and we haven't seen any of those yet, so there's no way any of them are in range. I would take my time and get this aimed at the center pole of the tower. Like, actually force them off. Because a couple of these, like, hit walls. Hitting a wall isn't necessarily a bad thing because it will like expand out through the wall, and that can sometimes catch people, but I think here we just kind of wanted it to be in as central a position on the ramp as possible, so that they're forced to either be way far backwards on the ramp or too far forward on the ramp. And we definitely left some holes there that they are going to be able to sneak through. Unfortunately, they also clear out two of our teammates, so now we've got to be careful again. There's not a lot that you're going to be able to do by shooting at the Kraken. Your best plan is to position yourself as far away from the Kraken as possible. Like, a lot of people make this mistake that, like, they see a Kraken's coming, and they, like, run toward it. And it's not exactly what you're doing here, but, like, if I see this Kraken coming up here on the right-hand side, I'm just going to move forward on the left, because that puts more distance between it and me than if I drop over here to the right at it. Like, just be as far away from it as possible, so far away that it's, like, not even going to consider that as an option because it has to go too far to get to you. But trying to play the game where we're getting right next to it and dodging back and forth is going to make it so that we're having less of an impact on the match while it's live. Now, we do a good job here. We recognize that it's running out. We see the red flashing. And so we know, okay, if I just stay alive for a little bit longer here, I'm going to be able to punish it. And we do. What I would argue, though, is that moving forward on the left here gives you access to the tower right away. And so if you're able to, you know, get a sneaky pick off the tower here, the Kraken's not going to be able to get there in time to disrupt that. And I think these players are kind of counting on the Kraken. The tower riders are kind of counting on the Kraken to distract in front of it. So if you slip by the Kraken or something, they will probably be surprised by that. So, you know, I'm probably going to make a video on counterplaying the Kraken because I just keep seeing arguments that there is none, and that's not true. But the general game plan here is recognizing that the Kraken does not have any range. The Kraken cannot, like, shoot at you with a projectile weapon. And so you can just go past it. You can just go wherever you want on the map. It is not enforcing a very large zone on the map anymore. You're able to just kind of bypass it. It's like, it's not a wall anymore. It's like a pole that you have to get around. And so because of that, you can just kind of go and do whatever you want to the rest of their team, and they now have to deal with you without having that extra player, that 96 gal behind a wall that is controlling a really wide arc in front of the tower. From here, again, so the left-hand side up in front of you here is an area where you can get, like, right up next to the tower. There are points where I believe you can literally walk onto the tower without even jumping. And there's nothing that they can do to contest that without going all the way around on the right. So what I'd probably be doing here is just going down this, like, far left side, getting away from all of this stuff, and trying to get that angle on the tower as soon as I can. Because you've already got teammates who are running it down this ramp, so there's already someone keeping these opponents busy, although not necessarily successfully all the time. But what's going to get the tower is not everyone jamming themselves into one choke point so that the opponents can just look in one direction and deal with all of them. What's going to stop the tower is the tower getting shot at from two different directions. Because from one direction, the tower rider can just stay behind the pillar the entire time and keep the pillar in between them and this one direction that they have to look at. But if you come from another direction, now if they're behind the pole there, you can shoot them. And if they're behind the pole in a way that protects them from you, your teammates can shoot them. There's just nothing that they can do to stay on it. So the goal with the tower defense is to create that condition where there are people shooting at the tower from two different angles at the same time as quickly as possible. And in order to get there, I think moving up here would probably be a better option. Now, there are a couple of concerns with that plan. One is that they have a Clash Blaster, which could be sharking underneath this ledge and trying to hit you up over the top of it. So you've got to be careful there. Another is that if something does make it all the way back around, then you do get flanked. And so that's something that you may have to worry about in the future. But for now, you know, until they see you down there, they are, like, kind of backing up after they get this pick. They're not trying to rush around at you. They probably wouldn't have known you were here if you just stayed a little bit further to the left and moved forward. It's because you stand up while you're right here that player ends up spotting you and kind of wastes your time, ends up getting you here. You can just bypass that. You don't need to worry about this choke point if they're not going to dive in on you from behind here. So just move in from the left instead. That is a good bomb pick, and that's actually going to help the team a lot with being able to clear the tower. But I think you can get that bomb throw and also get in there to stop the tower with your main weapon. Because it's only right now that anybody stops the tower, right? Imagine it was at like 36. Imagine you just run straight at the tower and start shooting at it from there. It gets probably to 30, and now there are people shooting it from 2 different directions. So I think that saves a lot of points if we just go straight for the tower there, since there's nobody on the other team that can hold that position on the left side. It's uncontestable high ground for you, except with the Clash Blaster, so you just want to recognize where they are. Okay, nice. 3 down. Just the junior. As soon as something like that happens, what we want to be doing is checking the heads-up display. Fight is over around me. I'm safe for now. Immediately check heads-up display and see what the new game state is. Because a fight is always going to result in a change to the numbers advantage. Or, maybe different people are up and different people are down in the same numbers. That's also possible. But right now, we've got a 3v1 situation. And we've also got a teammate who's pretty far forward, which is the next thing we want to see once we look at all this. So, yes, this player could still be sharking somewhere, but even if they are, we have 3 players and they only have 1, so them going for that fight is a trade at best. And a trade keeps you guys in control of the tower. Trades go in favor of the team who's currently at an advantage. They make that advantage last longer, whatever it is. So you trading with the junior is a great outcome, honestly, because all that should happen is you go in and the junior gets you, and then a teammate sees that the junior got you and gets them back because they're turned away from your teammate and they're able to trade that back. So now you've got a 2v0 instead of a 3v1, which is still good news for you, and the tower gets to keep pushing in your favor. But if the junior doesn't get that 1 pick, and that is the absolute best case scenario for them, then you and your 3 teammates just get to get a lot more paint, a lot more space, and push them further back. We need to be doing that as quickly as possible because these respawns are going to come in soon. The enemy team is going to be here pretty quickly. And we want to take as much space on the map as we possibly can before that happens. We want to bypass as many of the choke points that we see out on the map as we can in that time. Because if the enemy team gets to get into defensive positions on a choke point, now you have to fight for it. If you get in front of that choke point before the enemy team can use it defensively, now you don't have to worry about that, and the fight happens a lot further forward. And there are fewer fights that have to happen before you can take the lead back. So as the frontliner, as one of the weapons that is best equipped to be pushing forward into the enemy team, this is a time, this period right here, is one of the most important points in the game. The faster that a team responds to this kind of situation and knows what to do and is pushing forward and taking space, that's like the best litmus test that I've found for what skill level that team is at overall. Is just how do you deal with these transition times? How quickly do you respond? How good is your plan for it? How far forward are you able to get with every advantage that you're able to win? So right now, you've already got someone on tower. Get up ahead of it and clear as much space as possible before anyone's on top of you. You've got to be careful not to go too far. A lot of the time when I tell people, oh yeah, you need to be pushing up when you have advantage, they push up and then the enemy team respawns and they keep pushing up and now they're just in like a 4v1. So you've got to be keeping an eye on that and seeing when they're going to be back. But up until the point where they're back, you want to just be getting further and further forward. We probably could have gotten a little bit further into mid there. I personally really like going down in the bottom left here because this ledge is really difficult for a long-ranged weapon here to find an angle on me from. Anywhere that I am around this corner is a huge pain in the butt for them. And basically the only thing that's going to threaten you from there is a Clash Blaster. We're in a position right now where we're painting, so we've got special from here. So at this point, painting is purely for movement. because it's not giving you special. And we end up backing up even though there's a Booyah Bomb coming out. A Booyah Bomb is something that's going to impact the enemy team. It's something that's going to make it so that they have to move. And when that goes off, if you follow up on it, you're very likely to be able to get splats. Because, like, look at the corner that the heavy is shoved into here. They aren't going to have very much charge because they had to swim in order to get away from this. And, like, look at this player. They're not shooting at all because they're just having to swim. If you're far forward enough that you are in range to hit either of these players, you get that pick basically for free because there's no shot that they are able to return fire as quickly as you are. But because we actually move backwards as that Booyah is coming out, now there's just no opportunity for us to go in and use that, and it's probably going to end up wasted. I don't see anybody who's in range to actually go in and do anything with this, so I don't think this Booyah Bomb ends up getting any value, even though it was pretty well placed. I guess there's this player who got stuck over here on the right. We're positioning really conservatively around them. Right now, like, think about the position they're in right here. Look at how much yellow ink there is. Look at where your teammates are. Look at how there's nobody that this player has as a teammate here. If we just call, like, a this way right here and go in on this a little bit more aggressively, we're probably going to be able to get this player. But I don't think Boom Boom even knows that they're here. Like, Boom Boom has been turned the opposite direction this entire time, and all of a sudden there's a 96 behind them. So we end up getting them, but I think we could have probably called for that to happen a little bit earlier, gotten that numbers advantage, and then gotten back on tower and just been able to keep pushing it. At this point, we're, if anything, at a disadvantage, because we have a teammate who's on the tower versus, you know, their teammate who is off the tower. You know, there's you, there's the other player, and then you've got someone on the tower, which is a disadvantage. I guess you have a special, so it depends on how well you can use that, but the tower rider is also further forward than you, which means you're not protecting the tower at all unless you, like, pop a special or swim forward and get in front of it. If the Clash Blaster shows up on tower, Boom Boom should probably just have to back up or probably get splatted. And again, we're being really, really conservative with our positioning here. I feel like I might be saying as a general rule, I want you to be willing to push forward a little bit more than you are. Have you seen my tower control video where I talk about the arc in front of the tower?
I don't think so.
All right. I'm going to pull open send editing /plans really quickly. Make sure that's lined up. Yeah, there it is. Okay. And we're going to go Hammerhead Bridge, tower control.
I think
overhead.
I'm not very confident in getting picks.
Gotcha. That is something we can talk about for sure. Are you seeing the map layout here on screen?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's working. So, in tower control, the tower needs to move along this line. And so that's where the objective is always going to be. It's going to be at some point on this line moving forward. Might be here, might be here, might be here. Wherever it is, here's how this basically works. Someone needs to be on top of the tower in order to be able to push it. How do you remove that player from tower? You threaten to splat them. So what we need to be able to do is prevent someone from splatting the tower rider at any point that we're riding the tower on this line. The way that we do that is by creating a defensive perimeter, making it so that if you get within, let's say, this range of the tower... I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me.
Bless you.
We say if you get within about this range of the tower, you're going to start getting shot at. Because if an opponent tries to push in here to get in range of the tower, but they're getting shot at before they can get shots on the tower, that's a losing situation for them. That's when their focus on the tower gets punished, and we end up splatting them instead. If the opponents are forced to kind of deal with us, you know, someone who's up here enforcing this range past the tower before they can get to it, then the tower gets to keep scoring for free. Doesn't mean, you don't have to splat this player. You don't have to actually run up and engage them. You just have to make it so that they can't get close enough to the tower. So if the tower were sitting still, that would be the game plan. And that's kind of how it works in splat zones as well. As long as you're somewhere in front of the objective, you're probably doing okay. But the thing about tower control is that the tower moves. So where the arc was once here, if the tower gets up to this point, now the arc is way up here instead. Now this is the range that we want to have control of in order to keep the tower safe. And it'll just keep going, the further the tower goes. Once it's here, we want to have this under control. So this arc in front of the tower, it needs to be able to move. It needs to push forward. And that poses a problem to any team because that's difficult to do. That means that you have to unpaint space that the opponents have control of and then move the opponents out of that space and then get into that space. That's a difficult thing to do against any team, but it's especially difficult to do for certain weapons. Long-ranged weapons and support weapons in particular are not especially good at pushing up and taking that kind of space because the long-ranged weapons, they want to be pretty far away from someone in order to have an advantage in a fight over them. If you're, say, a charger and you're standing here and the opponent's standing here, this is a good situation for you. This is a place where you win the fight. But if an opponent is here instead, now your problem is that you have a really slow kill time and they don't, and their job is to get as close to you as possible before you're able to shoot at them. Well, if they've managed to do that, if they've managed to get close to you around a blind corner, underneath a ledge, something like that, now your advantage over them, your range, is gone. Their advantage over you, their fast time to kill, is something that they can use. And so now this is a fight that you generally, in most cases expect to lose. Obviously, there are going to be exceptions. Maybe you have charge right now and you're able to just one-shot them before anything happens. Maybe you're just able to get away, you drop a bomb at your feet, there are lots of different ways that can go differently, but that's the general expectation. If you're trying to compare this to a coin flip, this is a weighted coin in this player's favor. So you want to avoid those kinds of situations. Well, you're going to end up in situations like that if you try to push forward. It's really easy for a weapon like, let's say, a roller in an extreme case, to just sit right here, right around the corner, as you push around. And if the roller were back here and you're a charger and you're standing here, then yeah, you like this fight. But that's not where the roller's going to be. Roller is going to be right around that corner. And so you, as the charger player, are kind of stuck because you don't really know how to get an angle on that player. It's really difficult for you to maneuver in such a way that you can displace someone so that you can clear that area out. If you're a frontline weapon, that's a much easier thing for you to do because you're comfortable, getting underneath ledges and stuff. You're comfortable painting ahead of you and getting this area cleared out and checked. You can probably, throw some bombs at it or something, but you can also just if you happen upon that player and you're close to them, you have a pretty fast kill time. You can probably just take them out if they don't notice before you do. So it's better in general for the frontline weapons, the short-ranged weapons, to be the ones who are pushing up and creating this defensive perimeter. And then it falls to the backline weapons, like the chargers, to stand back and enforce that zone. So once you've put the arc here, a backliner, say here, is able to hit people over here, is able to hit people over here. You taking space enables other members of your team. So the long-ranged weapons need you to push up in front of them. In fact, a really good piece of advice for an E-leader player is literally to never move forward until you have a teammate who's in front of you, who's cleared that space out first. So that's one reason that it's, that's one kind of weapon that doesn't really have the ability to push up in front. Another kind of weapon is the support weapon, which is generally going to be pretty good at painting, but also worse at fighting. And obviously the worse at fighting bit comes into play when you're trying to take space and push enemy players out, because every day of the week, I would much rather have a 52 gal for clearing people out of the way than an arrow spray. It's just not going to reach as far, it's not going to kill as fast, and a lot of the shots are going to be even more random than the 52 gals are, which is saying something. 52 is just a much better weapon for taking opponents out and removing them from play before they can do damage to me. So the support weapons are also weapons that are probably going to be wanting to ride the tower or go in behind you and give you paint to escape from and stuff. So in any given team comp, you want to kind of look at which weapons your team has and decide, okay, which weapons are going to be best at pushing up, which weapons are going to be best at playing from long range, which weapons are going to be playing a more supportive role. And if you determine that you're one of the better pushing weapons, which I would argue you are right now, I don't think the Clash is going to accomplish much in general. The Forge Pro is going to want to be staying a little bit further back. It's better at finishing fights that other people start than it is at starting its own fights. It's got a slower kill time than both of these weapons. And you have a Splat Bomb, which is a bomb that explodes much more quickly, which makes it better for pushing up and trying to trap people and take good fights. The Splatter Shot is another great weapon for pushing up, but also its special is sometimes going to make it so that it wants to stand really far back, so it has a good angle to Trizuka people. That's not to say that yours isn't either, but between the two of you, you're probably the primary frontliners on this team comp. So with somebody else taking the tower here, and nobody else up in front, looks like your Clash was trying to, and they got taken out. If you don't push up in front, what's going to happen is the enemy team, if we don't have this arc, the enemy team can immediately move into a position where they can shoot at the tower and start shooting at it and trying to stop the tower push. If they can just walk up to the tower and get as close to it as they want without being stopped, that's going to stop your tower pushes a lot sooner. If before they get there, they have to be fighting you. 1 second, there's a knock at the door. I will be right back. All right, sorry about that.
Good.
So if enemy team is able to just walk right up to the tower, like we said, that's something that will stop your pushes earlier. But if you're in the way before they can get to the tower, even if you just die immediately as soon as they start fighting you, the tower will still push further before that happens, before they get in range to stop the tower, than if you're just kind of sitting behind it here, waiting for them to contest it. So as a general rule, as a frontline weapon, you're looking for situations where you have enough of an advantage to push forward and move the enemy team back. And that's true in just about any mode. Anytime that you have the ability to take that space, you want to, because there are only certain weapons on your team that are capable of doing that, and yours is one of them. All right. I like the tri-strikes here. They're in the places that you need to clear opponents out of. Now what we want to be doing is getting up there and pushing with them. We don't just want them to go off and then stay behind the tower here. We want to get up there and follow up, because we've moved opponents out of the way with this. We've made it so that they have to go someplace else. And when an opponent is forced to move, that's when they're most vulnerable to being attacked. They're forced to move in a certain direction. They only have certain options. And because, in this game, you cannot move and shoot, move as fast as possible and shoot at the same time, they're going to have to make the decision between, am I going to swim away from this, or am I going to return fire? If they have to choose that they're going to swim away, that's a really easy opportunity to splat them, because there's nothing they can do to shoot back. So we end up getting this player because they run forward towards us, which is great. But notice how, like, there's already a heavy shooting at the tower by the time we get here. If we're up front and the heavy has to deal with us first, this checkpoint is going to go down easily because the heavy has to shoot at something else before it can get here. Nice pick, though. Nice. Okay, that's huge. From here, get up even further. Like, this is not like, you can't move forward from this position. You can move forward if you get up the ramp. All that's stopping you is one junior. Everybody else has to respawn. If you can get up and take this area right here before the tower is going to get, you know, up this ledge, now you're in the way of the entire enemy team. Tower gets to score a whole bunch of free points before anyone's able to shoot at it. Remember how I was talking earlier on defense about how I wanted you to be taking this position sooner? What you're trying to do to move up here is cut this position off to make it so that they can't get to this position where it's uncontestable high ground and they have immediate access to the tower rider, who's just like sitting right in front of them as it goes through a checkpoint. You know, that's the best place on this map for them to defend this checkpoint from. And if you get in between them and their route to that spot on the map, now you're denying them access to the most powerful defensive position that they can take. So we want to be getting forward. We don't want to just be sitting here with this many players down on the enemy team. We've got somebody else who could be riding, but we don't have anybody else in this position who's going to be able to just push them out of there. So now notice how, like, you're being contested on the tower. If you get up there and get in between that player and that location, you get to just ride the tower through here for free, and they never get to that spot in the first place. So it was a solid push. I say that because we cleared 2 checkpoints. I don't say that because we got to 22. I say that because we got checkpoint 1 and checkpoint 2. I talked about this in an earlier video, but getting points that don't get you to lead, totally useless. What was useful here is that because we got through these checkpoints, it's going to take us less time to get closer to lead on the next attempt. Anytime that you're clearing checkpoints, that's permanent progress. So that is definitely something to pat yourself on the back for, but 22 versus 10, the 10 wins. So if we get the second checkpoint and then, you know, we see we can't possibly get more, in theory, the idea is to back up. Now, in that situation, you know, it was like a 2v1 or a 3v1, and we had control of the tower. Like, it made a lot of sense to try and push that. We just ended up losing the fight on the defense. Doing a little bit of painting here. So here is something that I just recently made a video about, which I think kind of speaks to what you mentioned about how you don't feel super comfortable pushing in. I talk in that video about how to set up sharking plays. That is, plays where you're ambushing someone because you're swimming in the ink and they don't know where you are. There are a couple of factors that you want to think about. First of all, anytime you fire shots, reveals your position. Like, those little bits of ink in the middle that you cleaned up as you came in here, you probably didn't need to do that. That cost you a little bit of time, and it made it so that it's more likely that an opponent knows where you are at that moment. As soon as somebody knows where you are, your goal should be to move someplace else. You're a short-ranged weapon. Anything with longer range is going to bully you out of position, exactly like this 96 cal does. Just it's such a like clear-cut example of that exact thing happening. That, like, if you just fight out in the open, if you fight in a direction that they're looking, longer range weapon's going to win. This is an open sight line, and they spotted you because you were painting earlier, so they're going to spot you and they're going to take you out. So what we needed to do is, once we fired those shots, we wanted to recognize, like, okay, I just did something that's visible, so now I'm going to do something that makes it difficult to see where I am. So drop into the ink, swim somewhere. Swim behind a piece of cover. Because if you swim behind a piece of cover, yes, they know what general direction you went in, but now there's no way they can possibly see you anymore. And so now they're guessing, is he going to come out from the right-hand side? Is he going to come out from the left-hand side? Is he going to come over the top? Is he just going to stay there? We don't know. Because we can't see it and we can't be tracking it in real time. Maybe they show up in this corner over here. Maybe they go all the way around and come up in this direction. And any of those things, even if they're tracking you the entire way you swim away, they don't really have the best idea. Secondly, if you have Ninja Squid activated, as soon as those ripples are gone, they might just not see anywhere that you went at all. They may see you drop into the ink, and then all of a sudden you're just gone. And for all they know, you could be over here instead. So re-entering stealth is going to be really important, first of all. And you do try to kind of do that by dropping into the ink here. Problem is, since someone was already watching you, they just fired at the spot that you went down into the ink. The problem is we didn't move once we dropped down. So moving is one thing. Well, like, as soon as someone's seen you, get out of there. Another thing that's really important to consider goes back to some theory that I was talking about earlier with how to play the objective, which is this line. Wherever the objective is, that's the most important area of the map. Like we talked about how you need to be able to control this area when you're trying to keep the tower safe. Well, if you're over here, there's no way that you control that area. So this area of the map isn't as important. And so people are a lot less likely to be looking at that. And if we just take that theory and think about, okay, where are they going to be looking at? Where aren't they going to be looking at? Then we can kind of figure out, just based on the state of the game and not even knowing where any players are, where you're most likely to be seen if you go there. Right now, the tower is hereabouts, and it's pushing this way. So the opponents are starting to look at this kind of area and trying to clear it out, which means the most likely place they're going to be looking at is this way. Well, if you shark right here, that's pretty close to their line of sight. As soon as, anyone shows up over there, that's something they're going to see right away. If you're over here, that's like 90 degrees away from where they want to be looking. This is a place that's really hard for them to keep track of because they're trying to look forward, but you're forcing them to look sideways. So that makes it a much more powerful position to take as a frontline weapon because it's not where the enemy team wants to look. They don't want to have to look over there. They would prefer to just keep their eyes forward because that's where the main body of your team is going to be. But, if you've got a teammate here, being right here means your opponents can look at both of you at the same time. Being right here means someone has to be looking this way and someone has to be looking this way. You split their attention, and creating those kinds of situations, just like we talked about on the tower, that's the way that you gain positional advantages in Splatoon, by forcing people to look in two different directions instead of being able to just put all of their firepower on one smaller location. Spreading the enemy thin is the idea that you want to play for. So, looking back at the match here, you've got a teammate here and a super jump here. I don't know if the opponents can see the super jump, but this teammate has been firing and painting, and you're just in about the same position. So when you fire all those shots and then drop into the ink, they're already looking at your teammate. They already know your teammate is here. They've been keeping track of that this whole time. So they're going to see you at the same time that all that's going on, and if you just submerge in the ink and don't move anywhere, well, they're going to know, oh, well, there's just a player right there, and they think I can't see them. And so then they go for this pick. And notice, Boom Boom here went over to that left-hand side that I was recommending, and they're still alive. The 96 was looking in this direction. Boom Boom survived by getting off of that angle and not being seen. Now they're going back in, which is going to get them killed anyway, but there was an attempt. Silver goes in and gets a trade because it's Clash Blaster. And then we're at a little bit of a disadvantage here. Definitely don't want to be pushing up too much. Don't want to be revealing ourselves too much. When you're running away, I always recommend running in a direction that doesn't run them straight towards your teammates. If someone's watching you and you lead them to one of your teammates and that reveals your teammate's position to them, that's kind of done your teammate a disservice, as well as, maybe that's all that there is, actually. There's no as well as. So even if, you know, they know where both you and your teammate are, at least if you take a different angle, your teammate can shoot at them from one direction and you can shoot at them from another. Or, in the case of this Kraken, if it's chasing you and that line to chase you happens to go through one of your teammates, now the Kraken is disrupting two of your team members. Whereas if you ran in a way that was away from your teammate, now it's only displacing you, and your teammate can still do whatever they want to do. Okay, so we see this heavy over here. Now, right now, the heavy is looking very far away from us. Like, this is a pretty extreme angle. So we can probably trust right now they don't know we're here unless they're doing a very good job of masking it. So instead of throwing this bomb, which all this bomb accomplishes is let the heavy know that you're here, basically. If the bomb were to force them towards you or something, then yeah, you could go in and take that fight, and that would give you an advantage because it cuts off one of their escape routes. But your main weapon is just too far away from the heavy to hit it right now. So instead of giving your position away now, instead of giving up your stealth, the advantage that you have on them, which is that you can be shooting at them before they even realize they need to be shooting at you, let alone turn around, figure out where you are, aim at you, etc. If you give up that advantage now, it becomes a 1v1 across open ground. And this is a long-ranged weapon. It likes that fight. What you want to do is get in from behind it if possible, because you can just drop over this ledge to the left, paint your way close enough to be able to actually hit them before you open fire at all. And then as soon as you press the trigger, you can be hitting shots right away, and they don't have a chance to flip around, do a 180, and respond. They probably don't even have charge at that point. But now, with that bomb exploding, they probably know you're here, and it looks like they are starting to look in this direction. Yeah, they're backing up, they're recognizing that you're here, so they're keeping themselves safe from you. Now, you do at some point, you know, maybe want to back up, but you're backing up before I feel like you need to. Because what you could do here is use cover to get closer to that heavy. Like, let's say you drop over the left-hand side and just paint up a bunch of mid right now. That cuts off the heavy's escape route, first of all. So if your teammates do succeed in pushing them from the front, they don't actually have anywhere to run because you've painted that out. Secondly, if you're underneath this ledge, the heavy can't hit you from here because they don't have an angle. So this is still a perfectly safe position to take. You don't have to back up this far. You don't have to be in the like back right over here to be safe from the heavy. In fact, you're probably safer down here because they could at least hit fall-off shots over this. But like from down here, they have to walk all the way down this ramp and give up their high ground and, you know, get in range of you in order to reach you. And you'll be able to see that coming. You'll be able to, you know, throw a bomb at it if you want to prevent it from happening if you don't want it to. You'll be able to jump back up behind this pillow if you need cover from that direction. So I think, you know, you want to be using this opportunity to get closer to them. And if you drop down over this ledge and they still don't know you're here, then you can get even closer to them by getting underneath the ledge on the right-hand side and being down there. And that will definitely cut them off so that if they have to retreat, then you're stopping them from getting there. But because we, you know, back off so far, put ourselves so far out of range of possibly being able to shoot at anything with a splatter shot, now the heavy is able to just kind of get away. We also, when we move that far back, let's go back frame by frame a little bit. Oops. No. Okay, one sec. Let me just pause it. Look at how little of what's going on we can see right now. The wall cuts off from here all the way over to the right. About 2/3 of your screen is completely blocked. And it's those 2/3 of your screen where all of the action is going on. All you can see is your teammates' locations, and if somebody goes down, you see an X there. But, like, we don't know where the heavy is. We don't know what they're looking at. We're safe from the heavy as soon as we get behind these boxes. If we just squid form behind these boxes, heavy's not going to hit us. Going this far back, yes, you know, we're still safe from the heavy, but we're also safe from any information about where the heavy is. So it's actually more dangerous to move this far behind cover Because now, for example, let's say we pop back out from behind the cover. If we were sitting behind this box, we could be looking over the top and seeing what's going on over in this area. But because we moved so far back, for all we know, if we step back out here, the heavy's already looking at this and has charge and mows us down before we can figure out what's going on. So don't back up this far if it's going to block your view of what you need to be able to see. Okay, so we throw one bomb at them, but we're not taking any additional space. We're just kind of painting for special. Look at the state of the numbers advantage right now. The heavy is the only player on the enemy team. If we get their attention on one side, our teammates are probably going to be able to do something about that from the front. We're probably, if we get their attention on one side, we can rush them from another, and we can force them further and further back by just forcing them to look in two different directions and making it so that they cannot shoot both players at the same time, and that helps us get a lot of space. And remember, space is your goal. Your goal is to push the enemy team back so that you can push as far forward as possible before you have to fight again. So right now, we want to be pressuring this heavy. We don't want to be just running at them with our main weapon, because that puts us across an open sight line, and as we've talked about, long-range weapons are going to win that. But if we can get their attention and make it so that they can't pay attention to both us and Boom Boom, then they have to back up. And them backing up is a lot better than them being able to stand here and take someone out off the tower. Right now, our whole team is directly in front of the heavy, and so the heavy can just look forward and use their really high DPS and their high range to probably get another pick here. Okay, no, they do end up getting one. But if we play a role in that and get them looking over to the left, and then just, even just get them looking there and then get behind cover and avoid the shots, your teammates are going to be able to follow up and do something with that. So make sure that we're getting involved in those fights when we have those advantages. This would be a great time to pop the special. Your teammate over here is isolated, and also you've got another player who's jumped on the tower with you. Having two people on the tower, let's just look at what this does on the map. Let's say we've got two people that are standing on the tower right here. So the arc of space that they control is going to look something like this. There's very little space that one player is controlling that the other player wouldn't be able to control by themselves anyway. So this is kind of redundant. It's not doing anything more for us to have a second player on the tower. Yes, you'll get through specifically checkpoints a little bit faster, but you'll get through them much less safely, because if you've only got one player over here who's protecting the arc in front of the tower, the entire enemy team can come crashing down on that one guy, and since you don't have anybody else helping them, that player gets removed really easily, and now there's nobody stopping anyone from getting in range of the tower. Better to have one player on tower and have the other player getting up in front of it, so that now the opponents can't just focus one player down. They're having to divert their attention in two different directions. Or if one player jumps in to try and take a fight, now this player is getting 2v1 instead of just getting 1v1.
I think I was trying to save my special for getting through the next checkpoint, but I don't think it ended up working out.
My argument is that the obstacle in front of you is the most important one.
Yeah.
If you get stopped at that obstacle, you don't have the opportunity to save resources for the next one. If you splat the enemy team with your resources at this obstacle, you have time to regain resources or get better positions to use them. So I would use it right here, right now, because we've got a teammate who's very isolated up in front of us. If we throw some strikes that help them get a pick, now all of a sudden we have a numbers advantage. But until then, it's even, and it's even in numbers. We have two players on the tower, so we don't really have an even advantage in the fight. If anything, they're in a better position right now. And notice that because we try to save the special for too long, and the fight comes to us before we pop it, that special just never gets any value at all. And that's another issue of trying to save them. At top level, what you'll see is that players will take an opportunity to use a special that's like a 7 out of 10 instead of waiting for the 10 out of 10, because if they use the 7 out of 10 and survive long enough, they can get another special out when they would have just tried to save the one special to use that second time. Better to have the 2 7 out of 10s, because that makes 14, and this math is definitely very scientific and applicable to the game. Okay, so you're the first player forward. That's an important thing to note. Everybody else on your team went down after you. So you don't want to be letting people know where you are just yet. You probably want to be, painting safe spots and getting the rest of the way to your special so that you can have a special ready as soon as the rest of your team is here. Your team is all up now, but they're not all respawned. If you just took the extra time, they're all up now, but they're not all back out onto the map, I should say. If you take the time to farm special from a safe place where they're less likely to see you, and then you have this special ready as soon as all of them are here, that can be a very quick way to retake control of the game and probably get some splats. So I'd focus on that while you're waiting for your team to come in, because if we had gotten that special on the way down and then been able to use it right now, that helps us with this fight. Our teammate ended up getting 2 for 1 anyway, but imagine if our tri-strike was a part of this. Maybe our teammate doesn't go down. Maybe we get even more for this. But right now that the fight is happening, it's taken us a second to get in there, and we end up just going in 1 for 1. And this is part of the problem, I think, that we're having with pushing up. We're starting from too far back. And because we start from too far back, we have to run forward really far to get into the fight, and our opponents have plenty of time to see us coming. If we're right on top of them as soon as this engagement happens, they have less time to react to us. One other thing, and this is something that Kiver pointed out on a stream once, when you get a pick, you want to make sure that you're keeping yourself safe. Because most of the time, and this time you got it cleanly, but most of the time that you get a pick, you're going to take at least a little bit of damage. So that's one thing. You want to heal that up before you go into another engagement. Another thing is that as soon as an opponent goes down, they're going to ouch ping if they didn't see you shooting shots already. You gave up your stealth by going for that fight. So it's a lot more likely that someone's going to be ready to trade you back once you get a splat. So when you get one, be ready to just back off and get behind cover again. Let your teammates take over from there. Because you've already added value, you don't want to give that value back by staying in for too long and getting splatted by the next player. Because you're out of range of that heavy by a wide margin at that point in time. So what we want to do is just kind of take space, get special, figure out where everybody else is, and then go back in once we're healed up and we know the score. I'm going to try and hurry things up a little bit here just because we're getting close on time, and I do have another lesson right after this one. I don't want to take too long, although I can't imagine that they would mind maybe going 5 minutes over themselves just to make up for it. So from here, we're dealing with the right player at this point. We want to be watching for this sort of play. I like that you cut off their escape route with the bomb. That forces the Kraken out. Now we just have to, get away from the Kraken. We probably don't want to turn our camera all the way behind, though. If at all possible, you always want your camera to be focused on the direction the enemy team is going to be coming from. You don't want the Kraken to be behind you while the rest of the enemy team is in front of you, or vice versa. Because then one or the other is going to be able to go after you, and you're not going to see it coming. So as soon as you get past the Kraken, turn the camera around, and now the entire enemy team is on your screen at the same time. We have 10 seconds left in the match. We need to be on the tower when those 10 seconds elapse to be able to stay in the game at all. So going this far back, when the tower is in mid and we have this little time to go after it, we can't really afford to do that at this point. We need to be, even if it's not super safe to be taking this 2v3 fight, we've got to be doing the best we can because there's just no time. Better to take a really low chance of success than to give up every chance of success. Okay, we get one on tower. Yeah, that's about how you expect that to go. The heavy played that really well. Notice how the heavy is taking this angle at the tower, while the rest of their team is taking this angle at the tower. That's why that was so impossible for you guys. You had someone shooting one side of the tower and someone shooting the other side of the tower, so there's no way to use the tower pole. If we all go from one direction, now you can hide behind the tower pole here, but the heavy did a great job of making that impossible by taking the position they took. So, good on them. So that was a lot. I'm going to boil it down really quickly. First of all, there's just this general theory that as a frontliner, you need to be taking space. And that's something that, we've talked about having low confidence in. And so things I would work on would be maintaining stealth better, being closer to a fight before it happens, and not being seen getting that close to that fight before it happens. I would focus on getting the special early so that you can use it to get yourself in, and following up on specials when they're used. And then paying attention as often as possible to the numbers advantage is also going to be really important for making decisions. You don't want to be going in when you're at a numbers disadvantage. You always want to be going in when you have a numbers advantage. And recognizing those game states as quickly as possible is really important so that you make the right decision and your aggression ends up being successful instead of being stopped really easily. We also talked about, the pace of using specials, just like use them as soon as they will get value, even if you could have gotten more value by waiting. Do you have any questions?
Not that I can think of. I don't want to keep you too long.
Gotcha. If you ever come up with any, feel free to just DM me, and I'm happy to answer those over Discord.
Sure. All
right. Thank you so much for coming on, and hope you learned something. At this point, we are going to be moving on to working with... I even put their tag in the title, and I'm blanking on it. And I can't read it because it's too small. Here we go.
ArgeoAlfarone.
ArgeoAlfarone, right. And they have... Or Alfarone, maybe. And they have a team with them. So I'm going to get on Discord really quickly and figure out where it is that they are and whether they need invites to the server and whatnot. So hold for just a second so we can get them on stream with us here.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good one. Okay. Have they sent me any chat messages? No? Okay. So if ArgeoAlfarone is watching at the moment, just hop into the waiting room voice chat of the Squid School Discord server, and I'll be able to drag you up from there. But in the meantime, I'm going to go and send them a friend request and see if I can hail them that way. Oops, not there. Here, there. All right. Well, while we wait, food. Okay, they just accepted the friend request. Alrighty. sandwich tier list when I literally only have one kind of sandwich. It's not very original. Bagel, meat, cheese, spinach. All right. I'm going to trust that everybody here is a part of the same team, and if you are not a part of the same team, we're gonna give you the boot.
Okay, we are all.
Hold on. Let
Three
me
of us
let
are
me get
part of
your
the same team.
audio levels bounced out. There we go. Okay, perfect. Is there anybody else who's gonna be coming?
Yeah, we have one more. I gotta invite him to the server because he's not in the server.
Gotcha. All right, sounds good.
Let me invite him. I don't know. Yeah, so let me get him.
Why does the volume change like that? I don't understand. I set the volume for Argeo.
Yeah.
You heard it get quieter on stream, and then it just decided to revert. It just got louder again. I don't get
you
it.
see, I'm not on the stream. So I'm not. I don't. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not talking to you in particular. I'm talking to the stream audience. Just talking about why this happens, because Discord, what are you doing?
Trying to figure out how to invite people on. Oh yeah, this is how. Invite, yeah, and then Aether. There we go. Yeah, so so I'm pretty sure we're gonna send you a VOD of the game that we want you to spectate, but one of the members that is not here for that, so we're gonna have another member of our team gonna be there as a replacement. So because not all of them can make it, so yeah.
All right, that's fine. I mean, it's fine for anybody who wasn't even planning to be here, as long as they're on your team. So, is it a replay code or is it going to be a link?
Yeah, I can DM you the replay code. Do you want me to DM it to you?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Okay.
And I can get that set up while you're getting your other member in.
Okay. Let me check message.
So I was thinking the other day, right? Like, I like Splatsville's aesthetic better than I like Inkopolis's. Problem is, Recon is right here. It's so convenient. It's so easy to get to.
For which one?
I don't have to walk all the way down the steps and go halfway across the square just to talk to my lady over here. She's just right there. She's right where I want her to be. And it's way more convenient.
Yeah, I just wish there was something that would just be in the menu and I could just go to recon mode. But you know, hey.
Yeah, with her being there though, it's like you go to the square, you're basically there. Hey, that rhymed.
Let me. What was I doing?
Getting me the replay code.
Yeah, the replay code. Yeah.
So Ether is here. Is ZZ a member of your team?
Yeah, she is also a member. She's just gonna spectate and listen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, Jim.
Hi, Ether. And here is ZZ. Hello. Should I just call you Z or?
You can just call her Zarya.
Zarya. Okay.
Yeah. Save.
Hello, I am here too.
Hi, Lindolin.
Hi.
Hi, Mr. Squid School.
Hi, Jules.
Okay. So yeah, so it's those two. I sent you a DM. It's a message of Jules of the replays. So.
Okay. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 of these. We will at most have time for probably 2 of them.
Oh, did I send you 2? It was only so it's the bottom. You see where it says battles versus Emerald Entrails? It's those 2.
Okay,
It's those games I want you to look at.
so we'll just start with the first one here. We may not get to the second one, depending on what it is we find here. Typically, I don't need more than one match to be able to get a sense of what I want you guys to be working on, and then we might move on to just working on those things instead of continuing to VOD review. But let's see what there is to see here.
I'm glad we didn't send the matches versus wave break because we got deleted in like 15 seconds.
Yeah, those are short
We
matches.
nothing to review.
All right.
Yeah. Let me get on the Twitch because I don't see the. I'm not on the stream. So I never watch your stream. So what's your?
All right. Oh, are you looking for the stream itself?
Yeah.
Send it to you.
That is if you're on Twitch,
Oh, thank you,
Squid.
Jules.
Oh, okay, there you go. Also, am I? Oh, the stream went down in commentary. Oh, we're gonna grab Zarya back. Zarya, are you alive?
Yeah, Zarya's got accidentally left the room. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna share my screen in Discord, and that way there's not going to be stream delay between what I say and what I'm showing you.
Okay.
So let me know when you guys are all clicked in there. This is an excuse for me to take a bite of sandwich.
Nice.
I'm clicked.
Okay, watching.
All right.
I'm good.
Awesome. So, Zones Hagglefish, and we are bringing double splatling, interesting, Aerospray, and T-Tech.
Based comp.
There is, so the thing that I would say about the comp, and everyone in chat is like, ooh, he's going to say things about Aerospray. The biggest thing, though, that I would say about this comp is that you don't have a lot of weapons that are capable of pushing forward and taking space. If you guys were watching the VOD review from before, where I was talking about how the frontline weapons need to be pushing that arc back further, the T-Tech is basically the only weapon that can move in and initiate fights to be able to do that. The Nautilus is going to be really useful in finishing fights that like somebody else starts. It's not going to be wanting to be the furthest player forward, though. Same deal with the Heavy. And the Aerospray, I mean, they've got to be in biting distance to be able to hit anything. So something like a 96 cal, Aerospray has no chance of getting close enough to it because it's going to have to go through a splash wall and cross maybe like 3 times the distance to be able to get shots that the 96 is going to have to cross to get to it. So, I think if you were to swap the Aerospray out for a weapon that's stronger on the front line, that you've got a much stronger comp here. But as soon as the T-Tech goes down, you lose a lot of your pushing power. You lose a lot of your ability to take space. And that could be dangerous against a comp that has a 96 that can swap onto Kraken in frontline whenever it wants, and then 2 splashes, which are both capable of pushing in and starting fights on their own. Heck, even the Flingza roller is more capable of pushing up than something like your Heavy is, because they can get underneath a ledge and go for something. They are fine at close range, so in a pinch, they could go up and take some space if they really wanted to. Not that that's going to be their default mode. So we're going to move up to here. So we got Ether, Jules, and then walk me through the tags here. Who's who?
Oh, Will is Argeo, so that's me.
Okay, so Willikers, right.
T-Tech. I'm the T-Tech.
And then who's Cat Dog?
Dylan, who is not here. He's not here. He's the Aerospray.
Okay. But you're all teammates? They're not like a sub?
Yeah, we're all teammates. Yeah.
Okay. I see. So there's the BB thing, but Two of you have the beta star, and then
Yeah.
CatDog has the BB in brackets.
Yeah,
We're working on
did it.
getting
We're
that all.
working on the hive mind.
Work on the standardization there a little bit.
We have Splatling
If-
hive mind, but not bee hive mind.
It's if they're gonna be different, then make it so that everybody's is different, you know, and then it's uniform, right? But
True.
if we've got two that follow the pattern and then one that doesn't, that's gonna throw people off,
Yeah,
right?
we have to instill fear in our enemies.
Mine
Our
has like little
intimidating
tails at the end. So it's not the exact same BB, but it's close.
Well, that's something to work on. All right, that's one of the tips that I'm giving you.
Got it.
I vote for BB Star, okay? I think it's aesthetically pleasing.
It's already got pretty wide adoption. It is pretty swoopy and in cursive looking. So I don't know. I'm not, far be it from me to make aesthetic suggestions, but Jules is right. Anyway. Okay, so missiles have just gone out. So any fight that we were planning on trying to push up and take right now, we should probably forestall for just a little bit. It's not a bad idea to move forward a little bit and then back up. You're going to run into problems, though, if the missiles target you and then you keep moving forward past them. Because what's going to happen there is... You can see my mouse, right? Or can you? Maybe you can't. I don't think you can.
I think
No.
I can.
Okay. We're going to plan B for you guys. Oh, shoot. What I need to do, actually... Okay, 1 second. We're going to do a little bit of maneuvering on OBS right now. So, hold for just a second. I need to find the source. There are a lot of sources on here, and scrolling through them is hard.
Is there any reason why Zarya can't
Oh, I see.
hear you? I'm just wondering why. I'm trying to see if it's on her end.
Does Zarya have the role? Yeah, they should be able to hear. Are they able to hear you guys?
Yeah, no, she can't hear us. That's a problem. I don't know why.
Um,
I'm DMing her, so you can keep talking.
I don't think they have any roles that you guys, or I don't think you guys have any roles that they don't have.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll figure it out with her.
So maybe check voice and video settings or something. Okay. I'm trying to think of how I could show you guys by drawing on here. I don't think I could show stream. I don't think I have a way from this view that I could draw over it. So I think we'll just have to make do with talking about the positions and trying to explain them, unfortunately. So if you walk forward after missiles are landing at the position you're currently at, what that means is that you are now closer to the enemy team than you were positioning before. And if you're positioning somewhere, a lot of the time that means that you're about as close to the enemy team as you can safely be. So moving forward from that makes you less safe. And if you walk forward past the missiles, what that also means is that the missiles cut off your escape route. So now not only are you too close for comfort, you also can't get away as quickly. So what I'm looking for here is for us to be like moving forward a little bit to get the missiles to target further forward on the map, but then backing up. Because if you move forward and then the missiles fall in front of you, and then you move back to where you were before, you haven't lost as much space, or maybe even any space at all. So let's see how we handle these. So CatDog definitely lets the missiles fall behind them and runs forward. Will is able to just kind of go sideways, and that works out. And then with Ether, it doesn't really matter that much because they're just on the glass. So as long as nobody's pushing them at that time, they should be okay. I'm most worried about CatDog here. Nobody ends up pushing with the missiles. So the enemy team here just kind of lets you guys dodge the missiles. It's like one of them goes down on the right side, and then everyone backs up instead of pushing with the missiles. So the missiles get very little value here.
So that was a fault on their end, basically.
Right. What you want to be doing with missiles is having the entire team run forward at you while the missiles are falling. If you do that, then you should win the fight. But they didn't do that. One of them ended up going down in the middle of it all, so at least they were trying to fight it. But everyone else just kind of backed up, and so that gave up the zone. They throw a few specials at you, but again, no follow-up. Like those tri-strikes, nobody was pushing up during the tri-strikes, and so you don't get any value out of those. The enemy team is also really split up right now. If you were to just call out where one of them are, knowing that, you know, the Flingza is that far back and that the 96 is on the left, you could probably just dive on the splash here right now and take them out. Doesn't have to be a 1v1 with Will here. We can just be calling for help. Yeah, there we go. Looks like Jules helps out a little bit with that. So that's a numbers advantage right now. With that numbers advantage, we need to take the zone and then some. We need to, like, get to the other side of the zone and put ourselves in between their team and the zone. And that way, we're going to be able to lock them out. We do want to watch out for their splash, though. They have a crab ready. So we can't be too aggressive about this. Okay, they're going in with the Kraken, and they're going to try and hold with Kraken plus crab. Good pressure from Will to deal with the crab tank. Booyahing in response to a crab tank does not work if you're the only target for it to look at. The crab tank can 100% shred through the armor before you can get enough charge to throw the booyah bomb. So always just, if you're in that kind of a position, I mean, I guess from there, Cat Dog's so far forward, there's so little cover nearby that all they can do is buy that time. And Will does a good job of pushing in when they need to take those players out and trade back enough. But here, I think, is where we kind of run into the problem of the comp not being aggressive enough, because this is a moment where we want the entire team rushing forward as quickly as possible. But two of our members are still, like, way behind the zone, and if Will has one other frontliner with them, this fight is a piece of cake. And they're able to take even more space. But the Will just kind of has to go into the 1v1 on their own, and now they don't feel comfortable standing that far forward because all of their teammates are really far behind them. So I think with another frontliner, Will is able to play this much more aggressively and get into much more annoying positions and put the enemy team in a much more difficult position than they have to be able to get back to the zone. But as it stands right now, if they pick Will, they just get onto the zone for free. It's not to say that they win the zone, because like Jules and Ether can still shoot them, but Jules and Ether are not going to stop them from getting in range of the zone by themselves. They need more pressure on the enemy team so that they have less room to maneuver. They have what pressure does, like making it so that the enemy team has to engage with you, is it cuts off options that you have to move forward. If you've just got like a backliner and you set them in the middle of the map somewhere, a frontliner, you know, whatever weapon they've got, is going to be able to find a way to get close to that backliner if they just stand there. Like, even if the backliner has, you know, way more range and has a really fast kill time, you know, you're looking at like an A-leader or something, they can kind of hop from piece of cover to piece of cover and get around them, and if that backliner doesn't move, the frontliner is going to catch up to them eventually. So similar situation here with Jules and Ether. Like, having two people helps them stave that off a lot better. But ultimately, if it's just a couple of turrets, those turrets are going to get flanked eventually. You can't just have turrets. You need someone engaging the enemy team, and the turrets taking advantage of that engagement. And there just aren't enough players on this team comp to give you that extra engagement. T-Tech isn't even particularly a good skirmisher either. Like, a Splattershot typically wants to be playing with stealth, wants to be playing to finish kills off, or set traps where they know that they're going to get kills for sure. They're not as good of a weapon at getting the enemy team's attention and keeping it for a significant length of time without dying. And that's something that you really want at least a little bit of on the front line, so that when, one player goes in, you're setting up a fight for the other player to knock it down. The strikes there are probably a little bit early. I would probably try to be throwing those when they engage, because they didn't engage yet. Throw those like when they're actually going to get in someone's way. So now, like if you were to throw those maybe like a second or two ago, and the enemy team is in this position, now that's really disruptive. Because now they actually have to back off. But before, when they were so far back, they could just retreat into ink that they had behind them, and the tri-strikes weren't gonna accomplish anything. And they were so far away that nobody was gonna be there to follow up on the tri-strikes landing.
Oh, you mean like if they were like near the glass, that's probably when I should have like tri-striked, or like on that ramp, that area.
You want to tri-strike when you're close enough that as the tri-strikes are landing, you can go in and do something with them.
Okay.
Like right now, while they're here, look at how much space they have to back up. Look at how impossible it would be for you to be attacking them while a tri-strike lands on them.
Yeah,
it's just going to take too long. Whereas right now, those tri-strikes would force them back, and at a more critical moment in the fight. Now you'd actually set someone up, because they have to be coming up to the zone soon. And so you want those strikes falling when they're actually getting close to it. So at this point, they end up launching all of their specials, and it works. They're able to regain control. Ether gets one back. Probably would have jumped out there if I'm Ether. Just like get over the ledge and then use the time that you're falling to input the immediate super jump to spawn. Do you know about that tech?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so you're holding down the D-pad and then rolling from X to A instead of going X down A. Everybody know about that?
No, I just do X down A.
Yeah, if
Okay,
you hold down the D-pad and just press X then A real fast, it'll just automatic. It's way faster.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Let me do a quick. Yeah, the surrender booyah. Let me do a quick demonstration with some beacons here. Oh wait, it's not. I need to go to recon mode actually to be able to do that, because I need a spawn to jump to. Oh, very cool. So it kicks me this far away. At least this is still closer to her. Hello, friend. I like her. She's great.
Gold's the best.
And a very belated hello to Debbie. Okay. So, if you press X and then down and then A, then the map is pretty much always going to open up. But if you're pressing and holding down, I'm just holding Booyah right now, holding it down. When I open the map, notice where my cursor is. I'm already selecting spawn. It buffers selecting spawn for you. And so, if I go Booyah and then just XA as quickly as possible, I can do that fast enough. I didn't do it there, but I can do that fast enough that the map screen literally never even opens.
Got it. Okay, I did not know that.
And so, if you've ever seen someone super jumping out with the Booyah playing, that's why they're doing it.
Oh, okay. I thought they were just having real amounts of fun.
Okay, I lied. I did not know that.
I just booyah altogether too much.
Yeah, I thought they were just having lots of.
Landry, thank you so much for the donation. Landry says, don't be afraid of mistakes, be the mistake. Hashtag change the narrative. Sure, let's go with that.
Doing God's work over there, Landry.
Truly inspiring words. Okay. So this is actually a moment where, like, we definitely could have won the game. So
Yeah, at the 4
This
point.
happens to us all the time, where we get the lead like really close to like 5 or 4, and then we lose it and can't get back in.
Yeah.
I guess that's related to our comp.
mhm.
If
Because
you,
this comp is very good at defending. With double splatling, it's very difficult to push in against it. But it's also very weak at pushing. And
if you had
that's
to
probably
swap
part of why.
out, if you had to swap out one of our weapons for just a different weapon, what would you do?
1000% swap out the arrow spray. I mean, the meta answer to that question is to run a Splash-O-Matic instead.
Splash.
You could also do something like 52, if you wanted like Tetra Dualies or V Dualies.
What would you
Those would be
say
great
is
options.
The best worst weapon, because I feel that our arrow spray enjoys playing like extremely off meta weapons for just cuz, and I don't
Not
know if
even
they go
because
for.
they-
I don't think they'd go for a splash, just like out of principle. I don't know.
It's not because it's not. It's just because the weapons that they like is just like they just like spamming a certain thing, and they like big special output, and the weapons that he just likes Booyah Bomb, and like the weapons that have Booyah Bomb aren't the weapons he meshes well with. So like, it just so like we're just trying to find other weapons for him to play right now.
T-Tech is pretty close in that it has tri-strikes, and those
Yeah.
function in a relatively similar way to Booyah Bomb. It's a little bit more tricky to learn how to aim those, but once you start getting the hang of it, it's great. And you also have combos where you throw Splat Bomb, then use your special, then you have another Splat Bomb you can throw because it refills your ink tank. So you can set up some pretty elaborate traps that way if you're willing to commit that much of your ink tank to them. So in general, you pretty much always want to throw a Splat Bomb before you throw the Tri-Strikes so that you can get that ink tank refresh. And it's basically a free bomb, you know? It's free real estate. Just take it. And then, so that's one idea. NZAP 89 actually functions somewhat similar in that you're putting down a fairly large radius special, and it's everybody's job to push in and be fighting them as that special lands. And it has very high special output. It's a very fast painting weapon.
Fun.
It's also going to be a lot better at fighting than an arrow spray is going to be. So I would still consider that to be a significant improvement. If the special isn't as big of a deal, you know, the NZAP 85 is also a possible option for making it so that if you're trying to push in with a heavy frontline focused comp, that you're able to go zombie mode and come back quickly. Although with this few frontline weapons, that's maybe not as strong of an option.
Zara's in the waiting room, by the way. She DM'd
Oh,
me.
okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
Go and
But yeah.
grab them back in.
I'll definitely give those suggestions to him
All right.
after.
Zarya, are you able to hear us? Big sad.
She's DMing me.
Oh, okay.
Technical
I'm assuming
difficulties.
no. She's watching the stream now. Okay, she's good. She's good.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. Good to have you. All right. So from here, I'm going to go and take a quick look at the situation that Ether ends up in.
Man, POV scary.
Honestly, good job getting a trade, because that's about all you were going to be able to get out of that.
Jump scare Kraken.
Okay, I like Jules on this flank. I don't like that it's coming in right now. Look at like where the other teammates are at the moment. And imagine now that instead of Jules being alone here, Will is right where Brick is and is actually taking this fight with Jules at the same time. If you guys pinch the zone at the same time here, that's going to be a lot more likely to be successful. Brick should, in theory, be able to just trade this back. Yes, they do.
Where's Brick? Hold up. What's
Brick is the Neo Splash.
Okay. Oh, the person. Got it. Okay. Never mind.
The person, yes. So What I want Jules doing here is just shark on this spot and wait for the rest of the team to come back. You've got, you know, they've got to get to 4. You got plenty
In
of
my
time.
brain, I was saying hero time, hero time.
Yeah, and that's
But I
something to
traded.
that's something to resist for sure, because again, they're at 82. You've got 78 more ticks of the clock before you have to be at all remotely worried. But the way that we lose here is if we stagger. The way that we lose is if we don't actually regroup and they keep getting to have fights at numbers advantage. Because right now out on the map, like, effectively this is a 3v1. Like, Cat Dog's over here, but this is not a position that's ever going to be relevant, and also it's an arrow spray. So right now in mid, there's a 3v1 situation. If we fight in the 3v1, best we get is a 1-for-1 trade. That's the absolute, you know, maximum value that we should get against a team that's playing off each other well. And so here's what happens if we opt in for that 1-for-1 trade. It goes from being a 3v1 to a 2v0. We're still losing that. And it's going to take a full respawn of the player who went down before you're going to get your numbers advantage back. Because now, you know, let's just take a quick look at the top of the screen and see what the state of it is after this trade happens. So now, 2 players in mid, and they've got a player jumping in. You guys are starting to have about 2 players in mid with another player who's going to be on their way eventually. They still have control of the zone. They still have the advantage here. The Booyah Bomb there is very early because nobody's in position to follow up on that yet. That Booyah Bomb is just going to get painted through by the enemy team before we're able to do anything with it. You want the Booyah Bomb going off when your team is ready to fight over the spot that the Booyah Bomb is landing. So now look at this situation. Lemon actually engages a little bit early and is able to get Ether just off on the side here, which is one thing. But notice that at this moment in time, it's a 4v3 situation. Why? Because of the trade that happened between Jules and the Flingza earlier. That staggered our respawns. So now it's still a 4v3. And if we go down here, then it's going to remain a 4v3. Okay, Will is able to win a fight on the right, which is great and important. I don't like that Cat Dog is fighting on the left. Number 1, because Aerospray is going to lose that. Number 2, because there was already a fight going on the right. There are basically 2 rules in order to become a more coordinated team that you want to be following. One of them is shoot at the guy who's shooting at your teammate. And the second one is only one fight at a time. And both of those are kind of interconnected, because like if you're shooting at the guy who's shooting at your teammate, that means you're not picking a fight with somebody else, you're picking the same fight that your teammate took. Well, Will and Cat Dog end up on opposite ends of the map here, and so we end up taking 2 separate fights. And so, like, I actually draw a Punnett square for this sometimes, but I can't do that in a way that you guys can see. But let's just, like, think about all the possibilities here. If you take one fight and all of your resources are put towards just one fight, it's either you win that fight or you lose that fight. Those are the 2 outcomes. There are ways to trade and draw and stuff like that, and I'm not going to get too far into those. But you win or you lose. But the thing is, you have a much higher likelihood of winning. And so instead of being a 50% chance that fight is successful and gives you something you like, it's kind of a weighted coin. Maybe you call it 60-40 or something. So 60% of the outcomes are likely to be in your favor. Now let's think about what happens if we take 2 separate fights. Now you could win both fights, which is obviously great. You could also lose both fights, which is not great. But you also now have the option that you win one fight and lose one fight, and that could go either way. So here, Will wins one fight, Cat Dog loses another fight. That doesn't affect the outcome of the match here. We don't like that trade. because trades go in favor of the team who's already in the lead. Trades go in favor of the team that has control of the zone in this case. They're happy to take this 1-for-1 trade because we still haven't gained any advantage in painting power over them. In fact, we've lost our best painting weapon on the team from the fight being taken this way. How do we avoid this? Every fight needs to get called. That's the communication side of it is where this gets fixed. You need to know ahead of time that Will is taking a fight on the right-hand side so that not only can everyone watch that fight, but CatDog knows not to get suckered into taking a fight away from what everyone else is looking at. If that fight on the right gets called and CatDog responds appropriately, they are going to see this splash coming at them, and they're going to call it out, but they're going to back up because they're going to know that they don't have backup immediately. They're going to know that they don't really have anyone who's there to help them with this. And so now that fight on the left doesn't actually happen. The fight on the right does happen. We win that one, and we're able to push in with a 4v3, and now that splash is outnumbered, and now we can do something about them. So that's where this probably goes wrong here, is that, you know, we still don't have any advantage to be pushing the zone with, and because we don't have an advantage, we can't displace them very easily. We're going to need to use, like, another special. We're going to need to wait another cycle for CatDog to get in here. And now this is really dangerous. We need to get the cap on this push right here against their full team of 4. We do have one special up on them to be able to do that with. We want to get that placed in a really impactful position. A lot of the time, the best place to put that is somewhere near the zone. So either close to where Will is, but maybe a little closer to mid so that it's behind the corner. Or if you look at where Brick is and then go down to the right a little bit and see that right angle, that's also a really great place to put it because they have to get all the way out into the middle of the zone to be able to shoot it from there. So it's really important, though, that before CatDog gets in, nobody else is going down. Nobody else is going in. That is going to stagger us. That's going to... If one more person goes down, the enemy team can just back up, put all of their paint on the zone, take absolutely zero risks, and they will win the game.
Yeah. Okay.
Unfortunately, so Lemon here is doing a really good job of flanking. I talked about how we want one fight to be taken at a time, right? Well, flanks don't necessarily break that idea, because what's happening here is the rest of your team is getting drawn into a fight on the top side. You know, everyone else is looking at this, but that isolates Ether here. Ether is not able to be a part of this fight over here because Ether is so far removed from it. And if that gets Lemon an ability to get in on there... Okay, so that was just a 1v1 that Lemon opted in for, so... Actually, I wouldn't call that really as much of a flank as I would just a 1-for-1 team, like, opportunistic pick that they went for. But my thinking there was that, like, the team was generally fighting over in this direction, which isolated this member over here. But really, all that's happening is Lemon is like, oh, hey, heavy, let's splat. And they went and did it. At this point, the game is probably lost. We have to go for the zone. We cannot afford to chase after this player. This player is out of play. If they try to jump across, then yeah, we can get them as they try to jump and then go straight to the zone from there. But it's only 9 ticks. A tick is 1 2/3. Sorry, you get 1 2/3 of a tick per second. So there is not a lot of time here before the game is over. Every single player needs to be running straight at the zone and just trying to fight whoever they can find there and get as much paint on the zone as possible. Ideally by splatting someone on the enemy team who's on the zone. Like, Will is diverting over to the left to go after Lemon. We don't have time for that. We've just got to paint the zone. We've just got to, like, pray that they screw something up royally at this point. This is, you know, not a situation you ever want to end up in, but it's also really important to recognize that, like, if you end up in this kind of a situation, you can't afford to play it the way that you normally do. Like, I think desperation play is something a lot of teams do really poorly because they're not recognizing that the win condition has changed to the extent that, like, they can't afford a safe push. They need to just make a push. Here we make no push because Jules is the only person who's painting the zone at the end, and Will is off on the far left-hand side trying to take another fight that's completely off the zone. If they're going to be off the zone, let them be off the zone. Maybe that could have been a 3v3 where you would have neutralized the zone, at least for the time being, while the 96 has to find their way back into mid. Maybe that's the way that you save that game. Maybe you get it neutral, and then while it's neutral, you take the fight, and that gives you a little bit of extra time before the KO happens. But in those like last 10 seconds, last 20 ticks, last 10 ticks kinds of situations, I just want to see people bum rushing the objective. Like, you've got to play differently at that moment to do the absolute most that you can to get that overtime to happen. So, we talked about comp, and that is definitely going to be an issue. The other thing we talked about, though, was coordination in terms of, like, we need the same fight to be happening at the same time, and the specials that get used need to get used on those fights and not just, like, throwing a Booyah Bomb at the zone in a vacuum is not a particularly useful thing to do. Because throwing a Booyah Bomb at the zone, it doesn't paint that much. All you need is one shooter weapon. Like, I could probably outpaint a Booyah Bomb even with just a 52. It's not the best painting shooter weapon by any means, but I put that much paint out on the zone, that's about what a Booyah Bomb is putting down. Because let's just switch over and look at how much paint a Booyah Bomb actually creates. We'll just sort by special and find it that way. Where'd it go? I'm blind. Here it is. So, I'm just going to put this Booyah Bomb right in the middle here. Look at how there are gaps in this. So this isn't just like solid paint control or anything. This amount that I painted right here took less time to put down because I didn't have to go up in the air and act like Goku and spend 3 episodes charging a Spirit Bomb. I just put this paint down, and that's already more paint than this is. Another issue with this paint is that an opponent can paint through this while it's going out there. So, like, it's not going to eat the paint droplets that you put out on the ground. It's going to, put its paint down, but then as soon as this paint is down, and it does so gradually, it moves from, in to out. As soon as the circle has moved out this far, my shots are painting this back up again. Because it's gradual, someone is able to use any kind of decently painting weapon to undo what the Booyah Bomb is currently doing. So, if you've got a junior watching the zone while a Booyah Bomb goes off on it, forget about it. The zone's not even going to neutralize, let alone flip. You might clear someone off the zone, but they shouldn't really be on the zone anyway if they don't have control of that space. If this line here is where the zone starts, I'm painting the zone from here because that keeps me safest. It makes it so that if I go down, I don't go down on the zone, and I'm still able to use the full range of my weapon to paint as much of the zone as I can. So if a Booyah Bomb goes out on it, yeah, maybe I'd back up a little bit like this, but I'm not going to really expect the zone to come uncapped because of that. So if we're going to throw a Booyah Bomb, you want it to be in service of a fight, if possible. You want it at least to be in service of, getting control of the zone. Because, it is some burst paint that you can put down. It's a lot of paint to go down at once, and it does take an opposing player to be able to deal with it. So maybe if that opposing player is being fought right now and doesn't have time to go and outpaint it, then maybe you get some impact from throwing it on the zone. But the specials are going to need to be timed just a little bit so that they're not getting 0 value. They're not going off before the fight happens. They're going off when the fight is about to happen. So specials are also something that we want to be communicating. Like, when you have special, that's a good thing to call so that your teammates know, okay, look for when they use this special in the near future so that I know to follow up on it, so that I know to be close enough to that fight to go and take it as the Booyah Bomb is landing. Because even if someone's trying to paint through it, if they're trying to paint through it and not looking at me, then I get to splat them. And that's the sort of play you always look for with a Booyah Bomb, for there to be follow-up from a teammate while it's going out, not just to get the picks by yourself by using it in sneaky ways. That's really rare to see in competitive play. It does happen, and there are a few ways to do it, but chances are, if you just launch Booyah Bombs in neutral without, like, any follow-up, without calling them, without your teammates knowing they're about to happen, you're not going to get a lot out of them. And the same goes for things like Tri-Strike, same for things like Wave Breaker, just like, you need your teammates to know that that's happening and that the fight should start now before you're going to be able to get any value out of those specials. First of all, do you guys have any questions? Let's start there.
You first.
Question about comp stuff.
Okay.
So you mentioned that like a good thing to trade out would be Arrow for another like short range shooter that can take fights. But when it comes to the double splatling situation, what would you recommend instead of a double splatling? Because I feel like we're probably both, Aether and I are both most comfortable like playing splatling, but I can also play machine sometimes. I don't know.
Machine is a really good addition to any comp. Like, there's basically no bad time to run a machine, I would argue. At least one machine. I wouldn't run like a team of 4 machines. That's a little bit too immobile, but you can provide very similar benefit, and if you're going to be switching someone off the Arrow Spray and you still want a Booyah Bomb, that is the Booyah Bomb weapon in the meta right now. So that would be a great option. If you want to... The thing is, even a Nautilus is played a bit like an anchor right now, so having both Heavy and Nautilus, it just makes the comp a little bit less aggressive. So that would be the first choice, I guess, just picking machine. But let's say you want to keep the Nautilus. What other weapons does Aether play?
I play Explosher. I play the Jet Squelcher. I can play the Nova. Mini Splatling, Ballpoint Splatling. I kind of focus on Splatling.
Hydra splatling, you've got Hydra.
I do have Hydra.
Okay. I mean, for zones, like, Sea-Jet plus Nautilus actually sounds kind of annoying because you've got double rain that way.
What is that, Sea-Jet?
Custom jet, yeah.
Oh.
So that's an idea to mess around with. I haven't seen people doing that, but
You
that's
do
something
like
to
to be
maybe think about. So that's one thought, but basically, we've established that the issue with that particular team comp was lack of frontline, and so we want to be thinking about how do we get more aggressive pressure? How do we get someone who can actually push up with the rest of the team? And I think even just adding one other frontliner is going to make a big difference in that regard.
Mini Splatling help?
What was that?
Would Mini Splatling help?
A little. Mini Splatling is a very similar position in terms of a main weapon to the Nautilus, in that it wants somebody else to start the fights for it. You'd want something more like maybe a dually Squelchers than maybe a second, if you're going to put in a second midline, at least something that can like maneuver on the front lines and get someone's attention and distract for a while. Because the Splatlings are very heavy Slayer weapons. They're weapons that splat really quickly and consistently when they get in range and have the shots, but that if they have aggro on them for any significant length of time, like if they don't have charge, they're screwed. That's the worst case scenario. They're not a weapon that can take aggro for a sustained amount of time, and that's exactly what you need as a skirmisher weapon. So I would say that you're going to be having very similar problems even if you make it a shorter range Splatling. So if you're going to run double Splatling, like Nautilus plus Heavy is probably about as good as you're going to get, and you probably just want to be adding another front line on top of that. But if Jules is willing to run the machine a bit more, then that's a weapon that can push up a lot better with the front lines because it can actually skirmish. It can use its range to keep frontline weapons out well enough that it can get right up there into range to attack stuff and be comfortable doing so. And it can also just support with fizzy bombs from behind instead of having to get a full charge ready to ever do anything at max range.
He is okay. I can machine. Fizzy bombs are okay.
Well, double splatling, it's fun. But okay, yeah, I'll try to learn other weapons as well.
But once we've got that extra frontline weapon, what I would say the next thing we want to work on is coordination, which, regardless of what weapons we play, we can work on that right now. So let's go over a couple of call-outs things to, rules of thumb, and then I want to practice them. And this way we can, like, go back and look at them and think, like, look at the VODs later and be like, okay, are we actually accomplishing what we're trying to with these callouts? Are we adhering to our goals? So
Yes, please.
rules for callouts. If you go down, you call out that you're down. If you get someone, you call out that you got someone. That's the first rule. Because while everyone should still feel responsible for keeping an eye on the numbers advantage, on the state of the game, you can't always be checking the numbers advantage, but you are always listening to the comms. And so even if it saves you like a second on realizing that you're, at a big numbers advantage, that second is a second that your opponents don't get to be able to retreat from you as you push forward. So one of the only things that you actually hear on top level comms is when they get someone and they're calling to go in and they're calling a target to go in on. And that's because you need that sort of speed to be able to catch a strong player as they try to retreat from a disadvantageous fight.
So, yeah. So instead of just saying, just one down, just saying go forward and get whatever person.
Not necessarily. So, for example, let's say that's a 4v3 situation. You got to pick. The play there is not to just hold forward unless you've got a special you can use to initiate that play. If it's a 4v3, but it's just like even, and maybe they have some specials and you don't, or even nobody has specials, we want to start aggressing, but we don't want to just hold forward yet, because it's very easy in this state for the 4v3 to turn into a 3v3. For one thing, the player who got the splat is probably damaged and probably can't assist right this second. For another thing, even if a fight happens somewhere completely different, just one pick is all it takes. And one pick, you can never fully control whether every member of your team just stays alive all the time. Sometimes, mistakes happen and someone's going to go down. It's a rule of Splatoon that everything is always going wrong. That's one of FLC's sayings. So in a 4v3, what you want to be doing is slowly but surely taking space. You put pressure on the enemy players to force them to respond, to make it so that they can't just operate freely, and you make it so that they have to back up. You're not going to be able to, just hold forward until you have something more like a 4v2. But if you do find, let's say, something like a... if you do find something like an isolated player that you can 2v1, then you can go for that. That sort of thing works out. But I would definitely be really cautious at that point in time and still work your way forward and try to play safe. So that's, you definitely call that one's down, and then as soon as you call one's down, you start to look for the objective and you think, okay, what resources do we have? Do we have a special we can pop right away? If you have a special you can pop right away, now that's enough of an advantage that, now we start a play and we just run forward at them. If we've got missiles falling on them and they're 4v3, that's almost like having another player. So that's one idea. But just calling out the state of the game, that gives everybody the thought to look for what we're going to do next. Okay, so that's rule number 1. Call when you get someone, call when you go down. Always, always, always call those things. Secondly, anytime that you're going to take a fight, your team needs to know about it before it starts. So if you're, getting jumped on, the call is immediately help left, help right, help on me. Or, on me, it's going to take a little longer for them to respond because they have to figure out where you are. But even just like help left or help right can get you the help that you need quicker. And if you're expecting that you might be able to get help, the goal there is to keep yourself alive rather than to just immediately win the fight. Because then if you get that help fast enough, now it's a 2v1 and they have free shots, and you've bought enough time for them to get those shots. So anytime that there's a fight, you call it, and then that way you only ever take that one fight at a time. Once someone's called a fight, that is the goal of the entire team, to win that one fight. And if you end up, with an opponent trying to engage you from a different angle, now because that fight has been called, you know to skirmish it, you know to avoid it, you know to zone that player away rather than trying to go in and fight them 1v1, because it really is just going to be a 1v1. You're not stacking the deck in your favor, you're not getting advantage from having your numbers there, you're just flipping a coin, basically. We don't like coin flips, we like weighted coins that flip in our favor. So if you're, too far away to be able to help with the one fight that's happening, then you maybe provide supporting fire. You keep other players out of that fight so that your team still has a numbers advantage. You don't let the enemy players get in range of it. You just put shots in between them and that fight. You throw bombs in between them and that fight. You don't hard engage that fight. Well, maybe if they get close enough, then you hard engage them anyway from a different angle or something. But this is assuming that you're too far away to do that. So from here, you're just stalling until that fight is over. You're figuring out what the result of that fight was, and you're making a decision from there. And then, honestly, I think that's a good place to start for now. There's not too much else that I want us to be worrying about, and that's already going to be a tough enough mental task to start forcing ourselves to learn. So let's get some practice on that. Let's get a... Jules, do you have me added still from lessons before? Okay.
Good friend.
So Jules should be able to join on me. So I'm going to make a lobby here. Why am I getting invites when I'm not in a pool? That's weird. We'll make an open match, and we'll rotate people around. So if you're not in this round, we'll put you in another time. Let's just get a comp that makes sense between the people who are going to be here. And from there, we'll be able to swap people in and out of that. I am going to... are you guys able to see the chat that is for the commentary channel here? The text chat?
The commentary channel. Yep.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay, so I just put in a password, and if you guys can see that, then you guys are good to go.
Wait, can one of you guys DM me the password?
Actually, it's not I
It
click
says
the
messages failed
commentary,
to load.
but it's loading. Yeah,
Okay.
It's,
I'll DM it to each of you individually then.
yeah.
That
So
works.
I blame Discord.
So Jules is in.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna go back to my T-Tech. I'll just stick to that.
Okay. So, I will play some Orange Enzap, just to kind of give a sense of how this sort of idea could work if it was what you wanted to try.
Chickens.
Oh, is Will gonna play? You said you were gonna go back to T-Tech, right?
Yeah, I'll go back
Okay.
to T.
Gotcha.
I can play. I play a bunch of different weapons. But I'll just do T-Tech, just for the sake of yeah.
Oh wait, do we still want double splatling hive mind, or should I
I
play
think-
something different?
We can
I
we
think
can give this a shot for now, but it would also be a
It
good
is
opportunity to
fun.
try some different ideas, just to see what else we could possibly do.
Yeah, I'm
I
open
think
to
the addition
some
of an
other
extra
stuff.
frontliner is going to help a lot, and the better you get, the more the comps will start mattering. I think as long as you've got enough aggression and enough paint, you're probably going to be doing fine for now. I'll have a video out actually about building weapon comps shortly, which I think will be helpful to a lot of teams. But for now, this is fine, I would say. Hello, you talk like in the YouTube videos. Well, it's a funny thing. I do talk that way.
Someone on the other team is from Team BB. What? They're another.
Imposter.
Oh no, is Dylan playing?
Vote
Maybe
them
they're
out.
on Team Bang Bang instead of Bing Bang.
Okay, one came mid. There's a couple on right.
Okay. I just saw
YouTuber
you-
is on right, so watch out for snipes from there.
One
I
is
got
behind
a-
the
There's
spin
two
and mid.
near the grades.
I got flanked by the.
Oh, there's a tent umbrella
there's
moving
a-
towards left.
All right,
One
let's
of
make
the
sure
great-
we're keeping the comms a
I'm moving
little
back.
bit quicker, so that we can get more things said at once. I got two. Move up. Ah, I'm down on right. Shoot, my bad.
Oh, there's a vacuum on mid. I'm
Beacon
down.
on our bunker?
Snipe.
Don't let them jump into the beacon on our bunker.
I took two.
There we go. All right, that's two down. Let's get zones.
Okay.
Good job. There's a jump in their street. Make sure we're getting the beacons as we move up. Three up top. Watch up top. I'm going up over it.
I got sniped.
Push right, push right.
I'm getting looked at. Oh. Got
There
one.
we go.
I'm jumping in.
One on left zone. Pushing left zone. I'm down. Two on left zone. Two on left
Oh,
zone.
they're one shot. I've got rain.
Good job,
I'm
Will.
throwing rain in.
Yeah, see if we can collapse left. Nice job. There's a beacon to top left, so watch for them to come from there.
Oh, top left.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
you can't
I see
reach
them.
it
There's
from
two
there,
coming
but
from
yeah,
top
they
left.
dropped. They
Yeah.
dropped.
And there's
That's
one
what you
jumping
meant.
in.
Going in,
Got
going
one.
in.
I
Got
think I
this
can
jump.
get their jump.
Jump is
Okay, good
down.
job.
There's,
One in their street, pushing it.
I'm gonna
they
put.
have a ton of missiles already, so be careful for that.
Okay, they popped missiles. Just back off. We can take this for now. They can't pop the
Oh
zones.
snap! I got missiles. I'm down.
I have ink strike ready. I'm gonna ink strike the YouTuber and the zone.
We still have advantage here.
I'm just swimming in.
In fact, we definitely have it now because I got two.
No.
Left
I
zone.
lost.
The YouTuber killed me. He's in the
Right
mid.
zone. There's one on right zone.
Right zone. Yeah. Okay. I see what you mean by what's it called? Saying
They're
like calling out
whistling.
before you die. I definitely like. Yeah. I need
Yeah,
to break
that's
that.
that's tricky, but it's something we have to work on.
Oh, there's
Alright, careful,
one moving
we're
towards
one
right
down.
zone.
We're one down. They're going in.
Two on our two
Careful,
on our
careful,
top.
careful. Back up, back up.
Oh,
We're
I'm
two
in a
down.
bad place. I'm in a
Yeah.
terrible
Oh.
place.
Okay.
So the problem there, we were one down. We opted in to take a 3v4.
Okay.
We played a fight that was weighted against us. So don't go in yet. Don't go in yet. We need to figure out where people are and get specials, and then we can use those specials.
Oh,
for
the
Alright,
hammer
hammer
is
in
in
our
our
court.
street.
Push forward because they're
I see.
behind. They're behind. They're out of
Okay.
play. Push up from the right. Okay, we went into the
Oh,
fight
look
on
out
left.
for
We
the
went.
slasher.
Back off.
YouTuber
Back
on
off. Back
right.
off. Okay.
I
Slasher
traded
is on
with
right
YouTuber.
zone.
There's a baton of sharking.
Stay safe.
I
Stay
don't know.
safe.
Yeah.
Okay, popping chumps. We need to go in now-ish.
I've got rain
I'm
going
gonna
out
try to
now.
break the zone
Nice, good job.
now. I'm gonna go.
Oh,
YouTuber
they're
got me right.
vacuuming.
2v2. 2v2.
Good job. There's a beacon on
Kill
right.
three. Kill three.
Keep zone
Go for
neutralized. Keep
myself.
zone neutralized.
I'm pinning
There you
the
go.
zone.
Just take the one side of the zone. The YouTuber's gonna be watching the other. We're gonna have to fight again.
On my out, there's one more slosher on the zone.
Okay,
There we
Slosher's
go.
down. That's two down. Take zones.
Oh my goodness.
I'm good. Should I jump to you? I'm jumping to you.
We're gonna try and save left zone here.
There's a beacon far right.
Anthony, you need help? There we go.
Thank
Got
you.
2.
Got a white.
Okay, there we go. Good job.
All right, I'm gonna take their top. I put down a wave.
1 top right, top left. Okay, I don't know what they did.
Killed
Nice
Blue
job,
Tuber.
Will.
I'm going back. I'm low. Look on the top left. I'm pretty. They just placed a beacon.
Okay.
They're not over there though.
They're going to bunker.
Because I don't
2 on
want
bunker.
the base. It's a
I'm
ton
chumping
on
it.
They're tri-striking in our.
Got
What's on the
YouTuber.
left
Keep
side?
zones. Keep zones. Keep zones on right.
I'm just gonna paint on zone. Paint on zone. I'm gonna try to strike.
1 more
on this
there.
zone.
Keep zone. Nice.
Yay. Okay.
There's 2 coming from the
There's
left.
Super
two coming,
left.
dropping from.
I mean,
dropping
right.
from top left.
There is a hammer on the zone, on right zone.
Hammer's weak. Didn't get him. Oh man.
It's all me. Super-
Just get out of there, Will.
Yeah, that's what I did. Okay.
All right, we got time. Get your specials ready. Don't poke out until everybody's with you.
I've got rain ready.
Close to chumps. I'm gonna start auto bombing to figure
One's
out where
on
they
top
are.
of grate. Baton on top of grates.
Gootuber is going
Chumping
far
in.
right.
Get in for right zone.
And they're
Get
tri-striking.
in for right down.
9
Okay,
seconds.
I'm throwing some
1
rain.
down. Go in. Go in. Go in. That's 2 down.
Wave breaker down.
Thank you. Oh, they're vacuuming on right.
Back is down.
tried.
Jump to them.
One
Jump to
jump.
them.
Oh, I missed the jump.
1 more left zone. Nice. Nice. All right. Good push. We just need to
One
hold.
coming from the left. One coming from the left. Far
Others
left.
ink. Watch the
I
right
marked
flank.
them.
I just saw ink. I'm gonna watch the right.
All right. I'm on the splatling. I mean,
Got one.
Got him.
Yeah. there
Tent
we go.
is weak. In the shield. In the shield. Nice.
Oh,
That's a good
And their
hold.
snipe
YouTuber's
is
trying to
on
pace
top.
from
in the
here.
barracks.
2 on mid.
Make sure we keep
Top,
zones.
top mid.
Yeah.
Bucket.
2 jumping in from the left.
Left side
Yeah.
is weak.
Uh,
Go in on left. Nice. That's 1.
Oh, it's just their sniper.
Watch,
We
watch
can rush
their
them.
street. Watch their street. That's white. That's white.
Good job. Good job.
There we go.
Yay. Good job, team.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. One thing that I'm noticing that we're really going to need to work on is cutting down the length of your callouts. Complete sentences do not work. Like
Okay.
if you're using a complete sentence, you need to stop yourself. So the word
No,
is, cut it out of your vocabulary. You do not need verbs here. 1 snipe is all you got. There is 1 on their snipe. Think about how long it takes in that sentence before the person actually hears the information they need to know. Snipe is the location, right? Snipe is the first thing that you need to know so that you know to look at that. So 1 snipe gets you there in 2 syllables. There is 1 on our snipe gets you there in 6 syllables. We got to cut those syllables as short as we possibly can. Let's hit stop for the time being, just so we can talk about this. So that's one thing to immediately be working on. Just like we need to get those out there fast because we're talking so much that we're talking over each other and nobody's hearing what's actually going on. We want to work on the vocabulary, the templates that we're using for our callouts so that they come out faster. I have a whole video on this, but to review really quickly, like I just said, for a location callout, all you need is location and weapon if you know it. And if you don't know it, just say how many are there. So 1 snipe, 2 plat, goober on great, or something like that. And that's all you really need. So try to get into a place where those callouts are going to come out as quickly as possible, and everyone's going to be able to bark those, in quick succession and not be talking over each other anywhere near as much. Things like, all right, let's get over to the right-hand side and get our specials. No, roll out right, get specials. Just give a command. Like we're on a team together. We know each other. We're friends. Nobody's feelings are gonna get hurt if you just order them a little bit instead of, hey, it would be really nice if you would just cut the politeness. We don't have time. just bark the orders. And that's how we're going to get those working a little bit quicker and a little bit more efficiently. we were doing a pretty good job of focusing the same fight that time, I felt. We're calling out what to watch, and when we know what to watch, we're ready as soon as they drop down. On Manta, a lot of the time they're going to come from the left, because the left is really difficult for our front line to contest. It takes a frontliner getting all the way up through their street, down into their pit, back up out of their pit, to be able to cut that option off. And there are so many options for the enemy team to shoot them while they're trying to do that. So very unlikely a lot of the time that you're going to be able to get someone over there. So most of the time, especially with a team with beacons, you're going to expect someone to be coming from the left at least. But a lot of the time they were coming over bunker, and it looked like we were doing a pretty good job of not getting caught out too badly by that. One more thing, so quicker callouts, and the other thing that I want us to be thinking about here, because this is splat zones, is if you have the opportunity to repaint the zone and you're not going to be contested for doing so, that is your top priority, because that is the way that you win the mode. If nobody's going to shoot at you and you can shoot at the zone, shoot at the zone. There were some opportunities there where, like, we had a player who was threatening the area around the zone, and we took them out, and we didn't immediately just cap the rest of the zone. When you look at, like, a top-level Japanese team, I remember watching in Splatoon 2, this NZAP player, literally, like, 95% of the game, they just spent painting the zone. Because it was just constantly being contested by the other team, who was also just painting the zone like 95% of the time. That way they were getting specials a lot quicker. That way they were maintaining control of the objective. They weren't letting it cap over to the other side. And it made it as difficult as possible for the other team to get through. And that's more important the better your weapon paints. If your weapon is not a painting weapon, then you're going to need to affect the paint on the zones by getting kills rather than by spending your entire time painting. But even if you're that weapon, and you've gotten like a player around you recently, and you realize that the zone near you is close to being capped but not quite there, always get that cap first and then fight. In neutral, if you can get cap before you fight, that's always better, because then you have a lot of paint on the ground that you can use to swim up and attack them with, and you're scoring the entire time that fight is happening. So a little bit more priority put on the zone. Callouts need to be quicker, and we keep working on what we've been working on, and then I think we're in pretty good shape. I'm going to get another round started, but while you guys are getting into the lobby, I'm going to go and use the restroom, because it's been
Is it the same code?
Yes, it'll be the same code.
Okay.
Okay. So the room is going up. I will be right back.
Okay.
That's a lot of cat pictures.
Yeah, you know what? We'll keep the cats up. We'll keep the cats up. High CPM.
Nice.
Yeah. For the clicks. For the clicks. Is this when we say hi to the stream?
Hi, stream.
Hi,
Our
stream.
stream now.
Shout out to the cats.
It's our stream now.
Yeah.
One of
Yeah.
those cats is mine. I hope she shows up soon.
In the
You guys
mail.
know when she's
In the
there.
mail.
Jem comes back with a missing cat. Oh, you made the room.
I'm gonna hop into this one this time. if you don't
Okay.
mind.
I'll step out then.
Okay.
Do you know the code? Yeah, you do. It's
Yeah, I
in
got the code.
Alright, I'll switch to something then.
Oh no, you stay still. Lynn will just take over my weapon. Instead of T-Tech, Lynn will just play like the Splash or T-Tech or
I
something.
can play T-Tech or Neo Splash.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite cat pictures.
That's a good one.
Such a
10
good
out
one.
of 10.
10 out of 10. 11 out of 10.
Is that a cat in the box?
It is a
No,
cat
he's
in a
not there.
box.
There's no cat there.
He's hiding. You can't see him. It's camouflage.
Yeah, he's
But,
not there.
but,
There's
but I
nothing
see
there.
a cat. But I
No,
see a
no,
cat.
there's nothing there.
Close your eyes.
Okay. Oh, now that's a happy cat. Or a very shocked cat. I don't...
Sunshine.
Right?
Happy cat, I feel like.
They
Or
look,
maybe,
like they haven't seen
even
the sun in
inquisitive
days, though.
cat.
Right? The cat hasn't looked like they've seen the sun in days, though. I'm not gonna lie.
True.
Oh,
Good one. 13 out of 10, maybe?
are we rating these pictures now?
Yeah,
'Cause
we're
they're
rating
all 10
the
out of- 'cause
cats
they're
to
all-
entertain the chat.
Because they're all 10 out of 10. So, I don't know why
Put your
we're...
cat ratings in.
Put your cat rating in chat.
That one's my favorite.
That's my cat. That's my cat, Katsu. Oh my god, she's famous.
Yes. Is this
15
like,
million out of 10?
definitely no bias?
Let's hope that this next game isn't a catastrophe.
Oh, my God.
We can only hope and purr.
Oh, get out. Oh, man.
I was
I
gonna
like this
dramatically
one,
leave
though.
the call, but then I was like, I don't know how to get back
No,
in.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't. That's a good one. I never heard that one before. I noticed that there's no other pets, though. I'm sensing a bias here.
The cats?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for the best pet. The
Yeah.
cat.
I mean, this is my first time on Gem's stream,
All
so
right.
Are you a
This
dog
is a-
person or something?
I'm not. Listen, I'm more of an enjoyer from afar. I like other people's pets, but I will never have a
Valid.
pet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
They're cute.
I
but would
respect
never
that.
want to own one.
We were rating the cats to entertain stream. I hope
Yeah.
we did a good job.
I was making cat puns.
They all received over 100%, so
okay. That's appropriate. Was it we rate dogs first, or I know there's a we rate cats too, but I don't know. I think it was we rate dogs.
wait,
The
I
Twitter
don't know
account.
about this. How
Oh
is
yeah,
that
yeah.
possible?
They're always a 10 out of 10 at least.
Yes, at minimum.
My favorite Twitter account is Graph Crimes.
That sounds awesome.
It's
I'm
so
setting it
fun.
up by the way if you don't notice. So
All right.
Hope everyone's feline good.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Oh,
they have
yeah,
double
but that's
backline, so we are going to do better at pushing up against them, but be very careful about their sight lines. We cannot afford to get caught in the open when they've got charge and they're in range. So, looks like they're standing in about the same place, which is a big mistake for them. If they move apart from each other, they're way harder to deal with. I'm just going to bomb them out. There's 3 up
One
there.
left. They
One
just
dropped
put,
right.
Oh, they just put a bubble up left.
I'm being aggressed on right. Okay, we're 2 down, we're 2 down. Careful there, Linda. Linda, you don't want to get in a fight right now? Jump out if
Yeah,
you
I'm
have
getting
to?
out of there.
Okay, good job.
Oh, crap. One down here on me. Got him.
Okay, I'm popping chumps. Go in.
Their charger is way up. I've got rain.
There's one right here on a ramp that I'm going to get, and there's a jump I'm going to get as well.
I think we can cap the zone.
Yeah,
a little
we've got
bit.
Oh.
the zone cap.
I'm down to the Plingza.
I got their
Flings
leader.
got me as well. Just the flings on the right. They're popping missiles. If we can get them soon, then we should get them. But if we can't, then we need to back up.
Yeah.
They're still on the zone.
Trying to flush them
Got
out with
him?
autobombs. Nice.
Got him.
I'm putting rain.
All right, I'm pushing up to try and go after these chargers. They got me because I was coming in. Nice. Oh, autobomb got him. Just the leader. Just the leader. My ouch.
Chicken!
Leader. My ouch is the only one.
Okay. You're mine, leader. Oh, you're not.
Keep the zone capped as much as we can, but don't go down. I'm getting missiled. Okay, I should not have run it. My bad. We're 1 down. Be careful. Back up. Don't take
I'm
fights.
down to charger.
Their flings us coming up our ramp. Got him.
Nice. That's a pick that we can start to use to move in.
One is also coming around our ramp. Okay,
Nice. That's another
awesome,
one.
good job.
Beautiful.
Good
Beautiful.
job. Oh,
Jumping the
I
zone.
We got picked.
Nice.
I picked. Oh crap! I died to the trash.
Flings is really weak above me, but I can't keep fighting it.
I got one with my bomb.
Nice.
I'm gonna strike their Flingza and their Charger.
I'm just gonna keep throwing bombs over the top at
I'm
them.
gonna try to get their leader.
Their Charger dropped right.
Flings a drop
So their
right.
Flingza. Got him.
Charger down.
Nice.
Keep zone. One on zone, one on zone. In the bubble. I'm down. Nice pick. Alright, good job keeping that.
Got the Flingza.
Good job.
I'm putting bombs behind them. Got one. Got two.
Nice.
Good job.
E-leader on me. Good bomb. Beautiful, beautiful.
Nice.
Okay, now let's start locking them out.
All right.
I'm gonna strike them.
I think one is flanking.
One
Yeah,
dropped
one
right.
flanking.
Yeah, they're
It's,
dropping right.
Flingza.
That's the
Got
only way they
their
can come
Charger.
out. Got two. That should be game. Alright,
No.
good stuff. And that was a good formation in general. Like, we had a frontline weapon that pushed up ramp. We had me going up with them, but then I came down to help in mid when people dropped out that side. That worked out really well.
Someone's cheering for you in chat. Hey.
Oh, thank you, chat.
Draco Jester, big fan. Big Lin fan.
Oh, that's my
We're
friend.
all big Lin fans, aren't we?
Thank you, Josh.
Alright. Are we going to mix up our team roster?
Yeah, let's
want
do
us-
that.
Oh, yeah.
So let's stop. Yeah, that went well. And part of that is because they had double charger, and the big problem that they had was that their chargers were standing on top of each other. They were coming from the same angle. If you're controlling the same space as somebody else, you're inherently less useful. Because like one charger is all you need to hold that angle. You don't need two. If you have two chargers from different angles, now you control a lot more of the map that way, and that's a lot more difficult to deal with.
Isn't it also just easier to just You're just also just like collateral damage because if you're one shooting at you, you're also just shooting at another person at the same time.
Right.
Also, so it's also
If they get targeted by like a booyah bomb, then they both have to move.
yeah, exactly, yeah. So it's
And chargers are going to get targeted because they're chargers.
yeah.
And we don't like them. they make us sad.
Every projectile is for them. Whenever I play Charger, I'm like, is it for me? Yeah, of course it is.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, who are you swapping in here?
I can play the washing machine.
There you go.
Whatever.
Yeah, you foreplay again. I'll just spectate another round.
Okay, I can also play the custom jet.
Yeah, so
please.
let's try out both the machine heavy comp and the Nautilus Sea Jet comp.
Okay.
Both of those would be interesting ideas to see.
So I'll switch to heavy.
All right. Lobby is up.
Alright.
As are the cats.
Very cool.
You've cat to be kitten me, right? You know.
Oh goodness.
Alright, A3, you're off the team. No. JK.
Valid.
He's like, I understand.
I'm sorry guys, but my machine outfit's really ugly. It's like not my ideal drip, I gotta say.
That's alright. I'll allow it.
It is not slaying.
If it's at least
not-
skirmishing, then we're good.
Okay, it might do that a little bit.
Alright. Do you want me on T-Tech or like, yeah, I'll stick on T-Tech. I'm warmed up with it.
But going back to, was it cat dog or cat boy? I forget. I played
Dylan
against
dog.
I played against a cat boy earlier, so
Yeah, we just call him Dylan.
all I'm doing.
Gotcha. Going back to their weapon pool, if special spam is something they like, then I would have them consider the Fling's a Roller.
That's valid. Extremely valid.
Vertical flicks into lots and lots of missiles.
That's a good point.
Alright.
Thank you for the exclamation mark cat chat.
Gem, you're. Oh, never mind.
Fling's a right? Or no, that's not even.
They rotated over to left.
Get it on right. One.
I'm keeping bombs on back of zone. Yeah,
Owen?
okay, good job. Fight on right.
They're throwing rain.
Ooh, I need to get out of here. Jeez. Okay.
Oh, and also missiles.
I'm jumping forward on left. There are two on me. Got one.
Oh.
One on zone. Right side. Nice.
Nice.
Jet in front of us. Oh, watch left. There's still someone
I've
there.
got booyah. If whenever.
Oh, I'm out of ink.
I got
Good
jet
job. Good job. They've got rain coming through, so make sure we paint
Got
through
one.
that.
Ooh, one on me.
I'm being irritating on the ledge.
Oh, I'm down to bomb on zone.
I'm gonna booyah.
One on
where
zone,
I
backside.
see them on the zone. One on me on the left. Oh, I'm down.
Oh.
I can't keep zone. I'm gonna back out.
I'm not sure if that was left or right, actually.
Ah,
I don't
that
know
was
my
zone.
left and rights.
I'm down.
They didn't come after me here, so I can go in from left when we're ready.
Alright.
That's two down. Go in. They're both marked. Oh, I'm down to the Flingza. My
Still
bad.
three.
Two on left. My ouch.
Oh,
Ah, crap.
I'm down. Couldn't
I'm
get
gonna.
my
Oh, I was gonna jump out, but I didn't be fast enough.
I have to work on that fast jump out motion.
This one's trapped here. See if you can push him. Oh, crap. They had help.
Ah, dang. Ah, crud.
They're try striking our ramp.
Careful there, Linda. You're alone.
Hi, friend. I will throw fizzies.
Don't worry about lead. We've got
I've got
time.
a booyah.
Avoid the
if
missiles.
That would be a thing. I just
Got
don't
one.
want to use.
Jump into zone.
Oh.
Let's go.
I'm down. There's one behind
One
you
on
on my
me.
out.
Yeah, I'm trying to help with that. But
That's alright.
all right, we got the zone at least. Play safe for now. Oh shoot, I'm marked. Got one.
Nice.
I might have to jump though. I'm getting pushed into tree. Okay, I think we're good. Yeah, they're not chasing very far. Good job taking zone. Chumping.
Nice.
I'm gonna try and get in on left. One dropped tree. You might be able to pinch him. Behind you, Jules.
Oh dear. I got booyah. I'm going to booyah behind the zone.
I'm down to bomb.
Missiles coming.
I couldn't get
Oh
away.
gosh, we're 3 down.
Yeah, we were backing up when the booyah came out, so we weren't able to follow up with it. Chump's ready. They're going out. Let's go in.
One right. They're one shot.
Right side down. Two on left still. Still one left side.
Oh,
Got one with bomb.
I'm down.
Oh, yeah, Bling's got me.
Good job getting control. I'm chucking.
I'm
some
harassing from right. They're gonna
fizzies at
pay
mid.
attention to me. Oh, I'm down.
There's a wave breaker right of the zone. Okay. I'm gonna booyah
On zone,
towards the back
nice.
of the zone.
Waybreaker down.
Don't hit me. I'm down from left.
Got one.
Watch left. We're bunched up a little bit. Make sure we're
I'm
taking
down to
different
bomb.
angles on the opponents.
DJ going right.
Yeah, there were two.
I'm dropping left.
Oh,
We're a little
Where?
split. There's a fight on right.
Yeah, I need help, right?
Shoot.
Just kidding,
Oh.
they're done.
15
Alright.
seconds. We
I've
need
got
zone by then.
Booyah.
Yeah, we gotta get paint.
I'm gonna booyah the zone near the back.
Nice.
Good cap. Nice try, strike.
Got the flings.
Got one, got two.
Nice.
Oh, that's 3 down. Let's go. I'm down to the bomb. Left side, left side, left side.
Left side. Okay.
They're coming to cap the zone.
Got one.
Keep zone, keep zone.
Traded. Keep
Oh
painting.
my gosh, I don't have painting power. Ah.
I'm down.
Just
That's
paint, just
probably
paint.
Oh
Dang.
man.
close one.
Alright,
Close.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So when someone has a special and they say they have it, what should another teammate say, or like should they just act on their instinct to just use it, and just go based on their own judgment?
Whoever. So. There needs to be a call about when that special is going to get used.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, teams will just trust their teammates to make the right call there. But, for example, once a team has more... we'll hit stop here. Once a team has more of a game plan, more of a set game plan, they might do more to plan when those specials are going to be used where. You might get shot callers who are comfortable enough calling where that special should go to have maximum impact, for example. So by default, you just expect that the player is going to use it when they see a good opportunity to use it, and that they're going to warn you that it's being used at that time in order to let the rest of the team follow up.
Okay.
I think I need help with where the booyahs should go. I feel like 2 of my booyahs were like completely ineffectual.
That is a pretty challenging question, actually. There's a lot that goes into that. So we can talk about that. First, though, I want to acknowledge raids from Liberté. Thank you for coming in with everybody that you brought. And earlier from Stormcoder. I know this is like 25 minutes late, but do appreciate you bringing everybody around. And thanks for stopping by. Then back to the Booyah Bomb question. So a Booyah Bomb can do a few different things. It can displace enemy players. It can trap enemy players. It can smokescreen. It can clear a backliner out of position. And so it really is something where what you want to do is go and VOD review a situation where you threw Booyah Bombs and think, now that you have, all the time in the world to think it through, where could I have put that Booyah Bomb that it would have had the most impact? High impact things that Booyah Bombs tend to do are split the enemy team up. That's the biggest one, especially split up enemy players that are near your teammates so that your teammates can follow up quickly. So because of that reason, they tend to be used to start fights rather than like later on in fights after they've already developed a while. You throw one of those in and then your team goes, kind of like how you would use missiles. Another thing that you can do with them, especially on zones, is if the opponent is holding a position that you want control of, not only does putting the Booyah Bomb there force them out of that position, but it gives you paint that you can use to swim up to that position. So that's something that you can also think about, that like you can use the combination of its displacement and its paint output. That like if you're going to displace opponents by putting it in 2 different places, but one of those places is on the zone, then you can throw it on the zone, and now you're both painting the zone and displacing them. That's kind of the thought process. Another good idea is just like throw it at a backliner that's in the way so that you can fight everybody else, because that's still isolating them from their teammates. What was your question?
Jules, you go first.
Oh no, nothing. You're good.
I was gonna say at the beginning you went into like the left, and then you were like in the ink for a bit, and then you popped out. Can I ask why you chose that decision instead of doing something else, like painting the zone? I'm just wondering.
So in a position where we aren't able to take control of the zone because there are opponents there who are a danger to us, if I go and try to paint the zone, they're going to know I'm there. The rule is like you paint the zone 100% of the time if you're going to be able to do it safely, if you're not going to be contested for doing it. The problem arises if you're trying to paint the zone and you're isolated from the rest of the team, and those opponents are just going to see you as soon as you start painting it. Because then, if I'm on the left-hand side and the rest of you are on the right, all they have to do is move 2 players over to fight me, and now I'm in a 1v2, and there's nothing that we can do about it. So, if someone's going to go at a different angle from the rest of the team, they're flanking. And in order for a flank to succeed, they need to be stealthed until the rest of their team is pushing from one side and they're pushing from the other. And that's the first time that you want the opponents to know that's happening. So for that reason, I was sharking to try and create a flank where you guys push in from the right, I push in from the left, and between the two of us, we sandwich someone in mid, and we're able to take control of the zone that way.
Oh, okay. Okay. Got it. I thought it was for a different reason. Okay.
Gotcha. All right. And I wasn't especially successful in that. You know, I came out with a fairly low KA there and whatnot. So I think calling that I'm flanking would be more a little bit more helpful. That's one other thing to call out. If you're gonna flank, your team needs to know about it so that they know to push in. And you don't necessarily need to say like I'm flanking left. If you just say push mid, that's all they need to really know, because that's what they have to do about it. But the way that a flank works is not that you just get someone behind the enemy team, because if you just have them behind the enemy team and that's all you've got, it's a 1v3. They're just going to die.
Well, it's rather... Oh, sorry, go.
Yeah, I was just about to get to what you want to do instead. What you rather would have is they push in from their angle at the same time that the rest of the team pushes in from a different angle. Because then the opponents need to look in 2 different directions. We're setting up that pinch that we were talking about on the previous VOD review, if any of you guys were there for that. If you force the enemy team to be looking in 2 different directions, that's when you win fights. So you want to be taking the same fight at the same time as everybody else. You don't want to be like getting yourself isolated and ending up in a fight that your teammates can't join you in. But getting someone behind the enemy team or to the side of the enemy team like that isn't necessarily a bad thing if you're able to capitalize on it by taking a fight as soon as the rest of the team is regrouped, where you create a pinch.
Yeah, I think that's all my questions. Okay. Anyone else before we go to the next game?
I'm good.
There was a question from chat that I can answer here, which was, can't Tri-Strike do what Booyah does, but better? And the answer to that is no, because they do different things. They're relatively similar things in that they're both displacement specials. Like, that is something you can say they have in common, but a Booyah Bomb is bigger, and a Tri-Strike has 3 of them. That drastically changes the way that they can get used. Another big advantage of the Tri-Strike over the Booyah Bomb is that if you lob, especially the last Tri-Strike up in the air, by the time it's landing, you can already be at the spot that it's landing. And so that enables a weapon like the Tentatek Splatter Shot or the Neo Splash to be able to push up and be there while it's falling in the same kind of way that you can be there while missiles are falling to follow up in the way that like the Kensa Splatter Shot did in Splatoon 2. So you need to use Tri-Strikes a little bit more precisely. Typically what you want to do is, it's similar to how you would throw a Suction Bomb Rush in Splatoon 2, where you'd throw one in front of them, one behind them, then one in front of them, or one behind them in front and then behind again. And that way, they ignore the first one, but then the second one forces them in a certain direction, and that direction is cut off by the first one. That's how you trap people more often. You can also, with either of those weapons, throw a bomb first to control more space, then throw the Tri-Strikes to keep them trapped between the Tri-Strikes and the bomb and whatever else you're pushing with. A Booyah Bomb is just thrown once, and so you only get to make one decision about it. And it's more of a macro decision at that point. It's more like a bird's eye view sort of decision than the Tri-Strikes, where you're thinking about exactly where they can move to next so that you can cut that off as effectively as possible.
I just noticed I never joined. I'm sorry.
Are you good?
No
Oh,
worries.
I was just DMing you.
All right. Well, we're all ready to ready up.
Cool.
Oop, now I'm the slow one.
Jump, can you try to put Zar? I know it's kind of late into the thing, but can you try to put Zarya in the room?
Oh, she
Sure.
left the room. She
Oh,
left
she
the waiting
left?
room. I don't know
Oh.
where she went.
She could hear anyone.
Okay, yeah, there's definitely something wrong with her Discord then. Okay, never mind. I'll try to talk to her later about it.
Might be some sort of privacy setting, I guess.
It is. It definitely is.
Okay, they have a very aggressive comp with not a lot of paint. So be ready for them to try and dive in on us with those dualies, but they can't outpaint us. So if they don't dive on us, then we get to paint the zone for free.
2 up there.
They're going to be throwing a lot of auto bombs.
Dualies
Remember
is on the
to
left
detonate
side.
those with your positioning by like getting close enough to them that they explode and then getting away when they're safe. So they're not distracting you when it's not safe.
Good job.
All right, that's several down. There's a jump in on left. Got 2.
Nice.
Oh, I'm marked?
I broke it.
I think someone will
I'm marked too, dang it.
They're going to have a lot of quick respawn, and they're going to be jumping in quickly as soon as they are available too. So make sure you're ready for people to be there.
Oh, dang it,
They're
I'm down to
putting
Autobomb.
friends
There's
down?
two on left.
Friends down and one coming. Yep.
I'm dead.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm backing up.
I've got rain. Oh, snap.
I ran out of it.
Nice.
Okay, good job trading.
Oh.
At least there's one bunker. Dropping down.
I'm
Careful.
down.
You're
I got
alone, Jim.
squelched. Julie Squelcher is far right.
I'm safe
There's
jump.
another-
All right, let's just dive in from right because there's some in our street already. They're not ready.
All right.
They're gonna be back now. They're gonna be back now. Got a Tetris. There's one in our street. I got him. They're jumping in. They're weak. On left. Whole bunch of chumps. Got 2.
Putting down rain.
I'm going for left plat. Push left plat.
Okay.
Got 1. There's 2.
Got one.
There. That's 3
Nice.
down. Watch left-hand side.
I think 2 coming from left. They haven't dropped yet.
2 in their street. 1 pushing. Hit him a couple times.
One coming from
From left,
far
from left. They're coming from both directions.
They're super jumping. I'm down to a reef slider.
All right. Rain's down on the zone.
Nice job. Nice job.
I'm down.
Too.
Dang.
All right, that's fine. That's fine. We got lead.
True.
So get special on the way out. Don't be seen by them.
There's a dualies on me. I'm just running away.
Yeah, just get out of there.
They're too close to me.
I'm down to bomb. My bad.
Unfortunate. Sorry.
I've got rain I can throw in if we want to all get in there at some point. Nope, just kidding. I went
All
down
right,
too
careful,
far.
careful. We're taking fights when we're down 1. Remember not to do that. Just wait for Jules to be back, and then we've got to make a push in. So
Oh,
be ready
I'm
with
gone.
your specials by then. Okay, we might need to go. I think we can wait. Okay, we're gonna have to go in off of this though.
I've got rain and I'm back.
Chumps are out, dropping down.
Rain going down.
Very weak on right. Got him.
They put down a wave breaker.
Zone first, fight later.
Kill 2.
Okay.
Zone, zone,
yeah,
zone,
you're
zone,
right.
zone.
Dang it. I'm down.
Ah, crap.
Priority there is to go for zone before we take the fight, if that's at all possible. Draco Jester's like, how come they get 7 guns?
Good point. Good point. That's not fair.
Cheating.
I went down to like every bomb. I'm sorry, friends.
That's alright. There was a lot of bombs being spammed. It was hard to avoid them.
Hi, Mr. Rocket Man. Oh, did you just play us? Awesome. Are we switching out the roster at all here?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll let Will back in.
All right. I'll hold out.
Does Jules or Aether
Yeah,
want to
I can take a
I'm
break.
swapping. Oh,
You're stopping? Okay. I'll replace Aether.
all right. You need my mic.
Looking at the comp that they were playing, that's so quick respawn comps like Tetradules and Splatana Wipers and things like that. What they force you to do well is to play to know the state of the game and to take the space that you can while you can take it, because they give you a much smaller window to be moving up in between fight wins. If you don't move up and take more space while you've got them down, they're going to get back into play really quickly, and they're going to just run it down again. And a lot of the time, if a team isn't prepared for that, they're just going to basically let them jump back into the same position they were at before, and play continues pretty much uninterrupted despite the fact that you had an advantage. So in those situations, like as soon as you get one, that makes it especially important as the frontliners to take advantage of that and make sure that you're getting all of the value you can out of that pick that they're feeding in repeatedly instead of just continually applying pressure. It's, being omnipresent on the map. So that was actually Mr. Rocket Man. We gave them a lesson just a day or two ago.
Oh, nice.
Pretty recently.
Seems like they learned pretty good.
Well, GG's.
Yeah, sorry guys, I sabotaged it there.
GG's.
He's working for the other side.
I just realized I didn't have the lobby up yet, so I'm gonna go and make that. Okay. Lobby should be going up soon.
Okay.
Wait, I'm confused. And who's going in for this one?
You, me, and Will.
Okay.
I think you have to go in always, Jules, because I join off of you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there is no option. Same code?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Aether, you were playing Jet Squelcher, right?
I was.
Okay.
Great, he killed it.
Do we want to do not 2 T-Tech?
No, I'll play Jet Squelcher.
Oh, alright.
I mean, if you just play
Try-
what you would
try
normally
52.
play in a tournament setting.
You're 52,
Okay.
Will.
Because
I'll
Nautilus can work pretty well as an anchor here. Like, we don't need another backline weapon.
I'll
True.
play my T-Tech then.
Alright. I'll go C Junior for this. I'm more comfortable with that.
I play like other weapons like
We're gonna
Slasher
know
or
where they
Blaster,
are.
but I don't know how those weapons work in this what's it called setting, and like with these weapons. So it's like, yeah,
This is a pretty good comp.
yeah.
The,
I kinda love playing
probably
this
the only thing that you'd see changed out is you'd probably see a second splash instead of a C Junior. But
Gotcha.
this is totally something you could see at like very high levels of play.
Alright.
Alright, so I'm going to paint for early crab. And then we'll want to go in with that crab as soon as I get it. I'm probably going to try and position it on top of bunker, but I haven't played this map very much with this weapon, so I'm not sure if I want to change that or not. But I'll get that special first, and then I'll position myself there, be ready to push in from the right.
There's one up in their bunker.
There's two on the left that I see.
Alright, crabbing.
One's going far right.
Right.
Get the one on right.
Yep. I have no ink. I need help on right.
Up on right.
I'm
Okay.
being. Oh, I'm done.
Sorry.
They're weak. Nice.
Oh, they're down. Oh, Stamper.
Stamper
Nice
down.
ball.
Got one. There's a jump. Jump
Good.
is weak.
Right.
Got the jump. All right, good job. See if we can cut them off from getting to the wall
One's
here.
coming from left.
Stamper
helping you,
on the
Joe.
wall. I'm running. One on me on right. I need help. Got him. Never mind.
Nice.
Watch out for tri-strikes. Crabbing up top.
There's two on top.
Got
on
one.
grapes.
And there's another one on the grate still.
Yep. Nice.
Beautiful. All right, let's stop them from getting to wall here, and then someone else watch left.
Well, I'll watch
Left.
left. I'll watch.
Oh, okay. There's Latana.
There's street. There's street. They're
Got
down.
Okay.
Another one up top on the. Oh, we got him. Okay.
Someone's inking left,
One's
so
going
someone's
left.
gonna go through here.
Yeah, I see them. They're probably gonna
Yeah.
drop. They just dropped.
I'm down
Okay.
to their elbow.
I have ink strike ready. I'm
On
just gonna
bunker,
use it.
on bunker,
I'm just
zap.
gonna wait till they get closer. I'm
Oh,
gonna
there's
go
one
in
on,
now.
one on top that just jumped in.
Got one.
Okay.
I ink strike their streets. There's a
Oh.
zip caster on top of wall.
Leaving.
Spider-Man.
3 on top there.
Spidering on to the
That
left.
should be
Oh.
game. Oh,
I'm
wait.
down to the
Oh,
Maybe
no,
not.
it's not.
Get zone. Get zone. 2 ticks.
gonna
Probably
prioritize
can't do
zone,
it. Just
prioritize
hold on
zone.
left. Hold on left. There's 3 there.
Oh, I shouldn't have put this. That's foolish.
We're probably okay.
There's
They
one
can't kill
on
all of
me
us.
chasing me.
He's weak. He's weak. There we go. Good job getting the zone. Crab.
So like, was that like a better try strike on the streets when they got closer, or should I have like waited a bit longer?
I would need to go back and look into it, and that's about all the time we have to do, so I might as well go do that.
Okay. Because I think my 2 favorite weapons at this point now are like the T-Tech and Slosher, and they both have Tri-Strike, so it's like I kind of have to learn how to use it as well as possible. So, gotta leave.
All right. So I'm pulling up the replay, and you can see it in the Discord projection.
Oh, cool.
So is that towards the end of the game, the try?
Towards the end. Definitely towards the end.
So like hereabouts?
Yeah, right here.
Okay. I'm gonna back up just a second, and we'll go and zoom in on you and see how this goes. That worked pretty well. Yeah, that locked them out.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And that made them all think that they needed to go over bunker to get in. So we kind of just corralled them here. There's one that went in on the left, and that was what caused us problems, but we were able to win this fight because they just all bunched up trying to go someplace else.
Cool. Nice.
There, I would have backed up and tried to play around Jules instead.
Okay.
Because Jules is Jules has better range than any of them, except for the Stamper. So if they try to push Jules, Jules can just like shred them, and you can poke in from a side angle. But from here, Jules doesn't have time to notice that you're taking this fight until you take it. So like, and I don't think I remember you calling that you were going to push mid. If you're going to make
No,
this
I didn't-
play,
I
what you
didn't
want to be
say
doing
that.
is like yelling pushing mid, so that Jules knows to look at that. Ends up working out in the end, but this Tetradulies here ends up causing us some problems that we probably could have just overwhelmed them a little bit earlier and gotten control back, but it works out for us. All right. So, quick review of the things that we talked about. Number 1, make sure that all of our comps have at least... I'm getting some serious echo now. Check. Okay, better. Thank you. Number 1, make sure that our comps have at least 2 aggressive weapons so that we are able to push in more successfully. Number 2, on our callouts, make sure that we're calling every time we go down every time we get someone, and anytime there's a fight, we want to call where that fight is so that we all know to look at it. We want our callouts to be very short, no complete sentences. Make sure we're not crowding the comms by just saying things too slowly. And what was the other thing we talked about with callouts? I know we talked about when you're playing zones, first priority paint the zones, second priority take the fight. Because if you can at least keep it neutral, then you can at least keep the game going most of the time. And then I think that was everything. There might be another callouts thing that I'm forgetting to mention there. But do you guys have any questions for the end of it?
What's it called? So there will be a replay video of this?
Yeah, there's going to be a VOD of this, so
Oh, okay, cool.
we can watch it.
Yeah,
Nice.
like you'll already be able to go and find it on YouTube and start watching from wherever.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah, we have a scrim right after this, and I already got a message for it. So we're gonna put this into practice. And hopefully...
Awesome. All right. Good luck.
Yeah.
Thank
Have
you.
a good day.
Thank you.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll...
Alrighty. I mean, open is where you can play in a team comp. Open is where you can play with comms on. So, you know, if you're gonna play open by yourself, then that's something that can definitely happen. None of the ranked modes are completely like free of consequences or anything. Open is usually on the easier side, but it doesn't mean that you're not going to run into coordinated teams. And typically the coordinated teams end up getting higher matchmaking ratings so that they don't get put against teams of randos, or they get placed against teams that are very individually skilled so that things stay relatively even. It's not an exact science, and, you know, there are always going to be some stomps that happen, but I wouldn't, you know, shame someone for playing in a coordinated fashion in the only game mode that you can get online matchmaking in a coordinated fashion. That's just restrictive. If it's the only way that you can play the game with a coordinated team, then, I mean, can't blame someone for doing so. Oh, beautiful. We just got raided by Popgun right when I was about to sign out. I can play a few games. I can play a couple games, but I do have something at X30 that I need to go to. And I was gonna shut it down right now. So you've bought yourself another 15 minutes of streaming, I think. Let's see, what's available? TC, Scorch, and Flounder. Gross. Rainmaker, much better. I do kind of want to work on my crab placements and crab execution, so I think I'll go here. Jem, tell them why Kraken should be banned from tourneys. Are you kidding me? Oh my god, Kraken is not as bad as Crab Tank. Nobody is saying the Kraken is as bad as Crab Tank. Oh my goodness. Man, one Saltoon post goes viral, and now everyone thinks that that thing is broken. You can just run away from the Kraken! You can't just run away from the Crab Tank. Like, just because it's harder to kill doesn't mean it's better. Oh boy. You say doing these VOD reviews has made you better? Yeah, I think teaching teaches you a lot, because you have to come up with a way to explain it. And that often forces you to interrogate how you came to know the thing. So it gives you a more complete understanding of what you already know. What should I do when I notice a flank while playing backline? Throw a bomb at your feet and run. The usual game plan. Unless we're talking like Z and F Charger, in which case, it depends on how you want to play around the wall. I mean, it's a little bit less clear-cut than just throw a bomb at your feet and run. Oh man, they're gonna die. They're gonna die if they run forward. Please don't run forward. Thank you for not running forward. Okay. The left side's clear. Oh man. Or just run. That works too. Hey, I did end up flanking the blob like I meant to. Did we ever get checked? No, we didn't. 62 is where it is. Oh my god, I missed everything. Cool, we're all dead. Why were we flanking left? The Rainmaker was on right. Just stop this as soon as we can. Ugh, I didn't want to trade, but... At least we stopped it. They're gonna be able to pop, though, and we need to stop them now. They're not... Okay, we got the stop, we got the stop. Let's make sure the flank doesn't come in from left first, and then back forward. Okay, we got them. This player's really weak. Okay, teammate got it. Good stuff. Oh my god, another raid. It's from Phantomu. Thank you for the raid, Phantomu. Hi. Go away. Let's just get this really aggressive position right here. I'm okay with them running away, because first of all, I can still reach, and second of all, they ran away, which made they weren't in the way. All right, there we go. So, okay, Kraken clam jumps. Let's talk about that. Kraken clam jumps are just about as bad as baller jumps ever were. The only difference is that the baller could be shredded, but a lot of the time, you didn't even want to shred the baller, because shredding the baller meant that if they rolled up with a power clam, they could just throw it right away as soon as it was shredded. So that ended up being, like, actually disadvantageous. Most of the time, what you do against a clam jump is you just kill them. Like, as soon as they land, there's one person who's alone behind your basket, and they're getting a super jump from someone who's barely going to have time to collect any information about what's going on around them. They're not going to have paint control. They're not going to have numbers if enough people respond to the fact that there's a power clam flying visibly through the air. And you just splat them. They get, at most, like, 20 points. Maybe 40 if they both have power clams somehow. That's unlikely. And from there, you now have a 4v2 situation and a pity clam, and that is an advantageous position if you play it right. That is a position where you are winning. So, going for clam jumps is actually, like, a bad idea. It's something where the problem with that being in the game is that your teammates will do it, not that your opponents will do it. So that's a cheese strat. Then, tower control, yes, it's annoying that they can stay on the tower, but it's also annoying that in tower control, you can just put a GG Booyah on the tower, and up until this point, there has been no counterplay to that. Now there's counterplay to that, and that's arguably not a bad thing. Also, if there's a Kraken on the tower, that means nobody's defending the radius around the tower. Nobody's actually frontlining and keeping, you know, the tower rider safe from enemy encroachment. So once that Kraken is over, your teammates can be standing and shooting at the tower immediately. Kraken's strong, like, don't get me wrong, there's a lot you can do with it, and there's a lot of disruptive effect that it can have on the game. But it's not as bad as Crab is. It's just not. Otherwise, people would be running double Kraken, and they're not at top level. I was hoping there was more pressure going on them. I should have waited. I should have just waited for that to come out. We've gotten that a lot quicker. We should be able to just get this and go. At least for a little while. They are... Dude, I'm right here. How do you not see me? I'm upset on their team's behalf that I'm not dead. That was like 3 different people, and I don't know what I did, but like nobody recognized that I was there on that spot. Maybe they were distracted by something else? I don't know. Maybe it's the angles. Because I know it's really difficult to see somebody when I'm on the right-hand side trying to defend. So maybe that was what it was about. But I definitely felt like I lived a lot longer than I should have there. Ooh, this is scary. There was pink going down there recently. Okay, nobody saw it. Cool. Thank you, Stealth Jump. Just chill here. Ah, crap. We flee! Oh, boy. Well, this is a predicament. Nobody saw that, right? Okay, good. Ah, I couldn't get across. I probably should have just stayed in mid and used the block there for cover instead. Nice, that's 2 down. Good job, team. And we don't need to do anything, because we've got to push to 4. I really should hit those. Needed to just take my time better. Take my time, get my shots lined up. You know, do the things that I just made a video about needing to do. Close. There was a second set of those that got launched from someplace else. I was not anticipating. Good patience on the part of the Rainmaker carrier, though. They're doing a really good job of staying alive long enough for us to clear. Alright, there we go. Good game so far. Yeah, Kraken being able to jump around on tower is a problem for 6 seconds or however long it lasts. And after that, like, it ceases to become a problem. So, like, having a Kraken on your tower rider is great, but that's probably not the ideal position for the 96 a lot of the time. I feel like they'd probably rather be using their range a little bit more. I don't know, it might be a good tower rider. It's like, I want the objective stuff taken out. Like, I want the tower to be contestable when a Kraken is on it. I want the Kraken to have, you know, a little bit more knockback somehow. But, like, the game isn't, like, broken or unplayable because it is the way that it is. And I'm going to have to make a video about counterplaying it now, because people just keep complaining about it, and I just don't think that there's enough of a valid reason for that. I think too much of that idea is coming from Saltoon, and not enough is coming from actually playing around it. Because what I see a lot of people do is they'll run towards the Kraken when they're trying to counterplay it, and like, why would you do that? That's the opposite of the right idea. Oh, don't grab it right now. Oh man, we have missiles on us. I am so scared for you. Okay. We might be able to move it over to left. There we go. Oh, please go down. Thank you. Oh, man, I was so close to turning around and having crab ready. That's so sad. And we just lose the push from there, don't we? Ah, darn. Alright, well, if we're going to be one down, I'm just going to get in position to crab tank. Oh, crap, they're going to missile. I was waiting to missile. Okay, we're on the right. There we go. We got one. We got two. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. Okay. So there's a Kraken now. How did we pick up the Okay. They knew it was spot second. That's fine. Like, if you guys think I'm the only person who's saying that Kraken is not broken, like, FLC believes that it is slightly better than InkVac, okay? His opinion of it is that it is not even the second best special in the game, that it is pretty mid. Very rare that FLC misses on calls like that. Okay, that's wipe. Let's go. Up and oh god. Up and over. Well, I'm not going to be able to save that, unfortunately, because I screwed up my movement in the first place, but we are going to be able to bump this guy. I thought we were. Shoot. Didn't do as much damage as I thought. Nice! Oh, that was so clutch. Let's see if I can jump into this. You get guaranteed wins in tower control by booyah bombing when they're on the tower in overtime. It is, like, pretty impossible to win the game at that point. There isn't actually very much counterplay to someone booyah bombing the tower and then sprinting to the tower to try and grab it from you. It's been a top-level strategy for a long time. Being able to stay on the tower for, you know, long enough to maybe cheese a checkpoint is something that Big Bubbler lets you do, you know? There are other specials that get you more value than that we aren't complaining about the way that we're complaining about Kraken. We need someone from over there because they came from that direction, which we could predict. Unfortunately, the missiles got me away so that I couldn't defend them. Where did they go? I want them to show themselves first. Okay, there's the Kraken. They're going to come in with this, and I'm going to die because they saw me. We're still in really good shape, though. Like, we've got a really good push. Let's see if I can just get a crab ready to go. Dead. Rainmaker, if I hit shots, which I didn't. It's a big sad. Just let these missiles fall really far back so they're not in the way of anybody. 20 seconds. Not a lot that we need to do here, so I'm going to play relatively passive. Watch out for the Kraken. Kraken's going this way, so I'm going to go someplace else. And look at that, the Kraken didn't impact me at all. If that was a crab tank, I could not have, you know, just circumnavigated it like that, because it would be holding down a wider area. But Kraken went out, I looked at where it was going, I went someplace else, I attacked their teammates. Kraken can do absolutely nothing to stop me from doing that. Just, like, don't engage the Kraken, and recognize that when they Kraken, they're basically just putting the game into a 3v3. They're not able to follow up on that special because they are the special. So now it's a numbers disadvantage. Now your front line has taken a hit because there's nobody out there firing projectile shots to defend angles, and you can probably find a way in on somebody else while the Kraken is doing their thing. I literally ended the game when they had a Kraken out. It's beatable. And the same principle is going to apply in other modes too. Like, yes, they're going to be able to stay on the tower a little longer, so kill their teammates, and then have the tower surrounded by the time the Kraken's done. And only chase one person at a time as long as you're not chasing it into your teammates. As long as you're splitting up well and managing its aggro, so that it can only chase one person at a time. Turtling? Absolutely not. I just flanked. That was not turtling at all. I flanked and killed the Rainmaker. I was behind the enemy team while they had a Kraken out. Because the Kraken doesn't stop me from doing that. The Kraken doesn't control a zone. It doesn't have a very large circle around it like I draw on my maps all the time. So you just go someplace else. And it's not forcing you to deal with it. Get up over here, because this is what's been defended. Let's see if we pay attention to this. Okay, well, I came in a little late for that. Just do that and run. I don't want to contest that. That's apples. They kill me faster. They're over on the right anyway, and the Rainmaker's left. Just get this going. Apples on me. Oh my god. Oh man, everyone clumped up and died to that. We're really staggering in pretty badly here. We need to not let this go too much further here. Try and get crab ready. It's not going to be ready in time. Oh, we got pop. How did that happen? They were trying to do this silly thing. Alright, well we got the checkpoint on right, I guess, so that's something. One here. I should have kept shooting. I'd like to be able to crab from here, but I don't know that it's safe yet. Let's go from here. How is this not killing them? Oh my god. I don't understand the aim on that thing sometimes. I think that's part of the problem. I'm not good at hitting those shots. Why are we defending right when they're on left? Just get this out of here if we can. Thank you. On the left, it seems. Where's the rain? Oh, they came right again. Shoot. I got the trade. They do have it, which is a little concerning, but they're in the corner. We need to be collapsing on that, though. We're not playing the place where the objective is all the time here. Where is that beacon? Oh, it's down here. It took too long finding it. I don't like that we're trying to push it right so much, because that is a more dangerous place to try and push it from. Why don't we just move it over to the left when we can? Apples are going to be on me, so I need to be fast. Teammate probably doesn't know that they're there. Why would we put... That's not where we were pushing, though. I guess they went up ahead of me to try and clear the way before I went there. But we really want to move it over to the left. Okay, that was terrifyingly close. We need to not let them pick this up here. I'm going to grab it so that I can control where it goes. There's one behind me. Guys, we're not paying attention at all to where the Rainmaker's going. Like, someone's just always going right. Even when the Rainmaker is moving left. And it was far left, too. Oh, this is nerve-wracking. We should probably lose this. Oh my god, that was clutch. Oh man, that was way too close. I don't feel too bad about it. Like, I think overall we should have had a better push than we did, and we just could not get everyone going in the same direction while we're pushing. We always had someone who was way out in Narnia when the Rainmaker push was happening. Alright, pretty close to that S+4 right there. But that does bring us to the point where I do need to get going. Appreciate all y'all sticking around and hearing me rant about Kraken. But we're going to call it there, and we're going to send you guys off to... let's go say hi to Chara. Let's go say hi to Pro Chara, professional character. Everybody's favorite character. Here are my links. I do content creation for Splatoon, teaching people how to play the game full-time. So if you want to check any of the other stuff that I do out, that would be where to find it. If you're looking for lessons like the ones you saw today, that is on Metafy, and one of those links there is how you can get to that. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and let's go say hi to Pro Chara.